disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
La vie est bien faite pour ceux qui veulent bien faire.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. Lobito! Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.
Got the goddamn music. This is King Bucho. Welcome to BDA Boxing, the boxing debate arena. We're going to be talking about the fights that took place yesterday. But I rather focus on the Teofimo Lopez fight because, well, you'll see why. First of all, we have Stu here. Stu Little. Stu, are you there?
I'm here, my man. How's it going?
Pretty good. Hope you're doing well.
I am indeed.
I sent you an invite, and I don't know, Thunderdome, yeah, I'll send you an invite as well. Probably you want to join, I don't know. All right, so guys, I need to fix the phone lines right now. So, Stu, if you want to just give us your take on what happened yesterday, maybe read some of the comments in the chat.
Obviously, I managed to catch the fights. I caught Crawford. I missed the Lopez, but I caught the Lopez, obviously, today because it wasn't very long, and I'll start with that fight. I've given Teofimo a bit of criticism lately, but I don't care. I'm not going to sit there and big up fighters, fighters' names and stuff, and tell you all that he's better than he is when he was poor in his last fight. I go by the last performance in a fight. I know some people are upset with me because I weren't fucking licking his ass. But that's just not me. I go from the last performance. I judge a fight from the last performance. I can't talk about fighters how good they were 3 or 4 years ago. It just doesn't matter, or how good they were 2 years ago. You have to go by the last performance. I wasn't impressed, but he turned it around. The punch he landed on Comey was technically superb. The way he turned it, the way he caught him right on the button. You could not throw a better shot if you tried. And it rocked Comey to his boots. And I just think after that, it was all she wrote. Comey, very vulnerable, it seems. Every time he gets hit by a decent sort of guy, he gets hurt. But like I said, Lopez come back, proved that he deserves to be up there at the top. Let's calm down. If stick him in with Lomachenko, we'll see what he's all about. At the end of the day, I think Comey's the sort of guy. It looks like anytime anyone grazes him on the button, he's going to go down. I'll pick Comey to win because, like I said, I go by the last performance. Teofimo was terrible. And I just thought maybe just all the shit that's going on, his head's not in the right place, but he came back and put on a stunning performance. So that's all I can say about that fight. At the end of the day, you've got to give credit where it's due. And I thought it was a devastating stoppage. I mean, that shot, like I said, that shot he landed on Comey was peach of a punch, and the way he turned it, technically superb. That is how you hit. I mean, if anyone wants to go, especially young kids, if they're listening and want to know how to throw a punch when you're in the gym, just go and watch Teofimo Lopez's shot on Comey's chin. It was just perfect. The way it landed, the way he turned it, the power he got in it, he planted his feet. Comey, like I said, I'm not sure if that shot lands on Lomachenko like that, or someone with a bit of defensive skill, should we say. But yeah, Teofimo moves on.
Are you feeling the Teofimo mania?
Say again?
Are you feeling that Teofimo mania?
No, I'm not. At the end of the day, I'm gonna be a bit conservative with Teofimo because I got a feeling he could be one of these fighters that looks superb one week and terrible the next. So we'll see. You know, he's got a good win, but there's some big names in that division for him. So we'll have to see. But you know, everyone's saying, like Grievous in the chat, most of you guys doubted Lopez. He was on form last night. Yeah, of course he was. But that's how I do it. I wasn't going to doubt. When he puts in a performance like that, I'm going to doubt you. What do you want me to do? Sit there and fucking do star jumps at that performance?
All right, we have
So
Gonzalo and Thunderdome also. Welcome, guys, and jump in.
Yeah.
Everybody.
What up?
As for Crawford's performance, I don't know what to think of it. It was good in the end, but he was getting hit with some clean shots. That's what I'm saying. I mean, just stick anyone with any sort of power in there. Kavalaskas, whatever his name is, I mean, he had a bit of heart about him. He come to fight. He technically does the fundamentals all right. He was just not strong enough for me. Not big enough. Not strong enough. His punches weren't really. I mean, he was landing clean on Crawford. He dropped Crawford. I don't care what anyone says, but if them shots that he was landing, if that was someone like Spence, even like Virgil Ortiz, who was talking about the other day, you know, you get a big puncher land on Terrence Crawford, then no, man, I'm not sure.
I'll ask everybody: is this the performance of the #1 pound-for-pound boxer in the world?
Look, the thing is, no, because every time he tagged Kavaluskas, he was hurt. I mean, just not a very good fighter for me. I mean, I'm doing about this guy. I mean, he was poor in his last fight. He gave it a good go, and he won a few rounds, but Crawford wasn't doing anything special. He was just walking forward with his hands up, just swinging wide shots, and they were just grazing and stuff, and all sorts of things were happening. I mean, for me, it's time to forget about these chumps. It's time to move on and fight someone world class. I mean, I want to see Sean Porter next for Terrence Crawford, or otherwise he's going to go down my pound for list, because right now I can't keep you in the pound for pound. It's when you're fighting Horn and Khan and Benavides and this guy last night.
Yeah, I mean, for the is this a performance of the top pound for pound guy? To me, he's never been even a top 3 pound for pound guy. So no, and he's just not the top pound for pound guy anyway. But he did have like technically, that's not a performance to even get him in the discussion of top pound for pound guy, in my opinion, because technically that there wasn't anything there. It was mostly
Yeah,
speed,
Medado
quickness,
Garcia. Hang on a sec, Thunderdome. Medado Garcia's just done a donation. We have to get our donations in because it goes. I just got to read it before I lose it. He's put Loma's foot speed is going to be too much for Lopez. I mean, that's something we're going to have to discuss tonight. But go ahead, Thunderdome. Thanks for your donation, by the way. Go ahead, Thunderdome.
Yeah, technically it was far from a pound for pound performance, but everything else, like the heart he showed, the grit, the attitude of how he basically got very embarrassed and came back and was like, "I'm going to punish you." I like seeing that. Like all the intangible shit was.
I agree, bro. I agree. I totally agree with him.
I like seeing all that in a top pound for pound guy, but he doesn't have the technique. He just doesn't. And he never will. Let's get that.
Let's be real, right? Let's be real. We keep hearing about a great boxer Terrence Crawford is. Every time he's trying to box one of these guys at 147, he's been getting outboxed. He's actually winning. He starts winning the fights when he takes it to him and starts letting his hands go. When he tries to box, he's getting outboxed. This is what I'm saying. His wide punches. He hangs around far too long in that mid-range in the pocket. He throws these wide shots, and the straight punches are the key. I've been saying it for months, and look what happened last night. A guy with a bit of pop. I tell you what, even someone like Kell Brook, if he's fit and he's landing them crisp right hands, and Crawford's in all sorts of bother.
You know what? That fight is more interesting to me now than it was back when the Khan fight was being made and Kell was being talked about. Because you're right, someone like Kell who loves just coming in, a big welter also, and throws that 1-2, bang, bang. Loves that 1-2. That could be a very tough fight for Bud, honestly.
I'm starting to think Bud's a fighter and not a boxer.
Yeah, he this is I was talking to
He's very
Precise earlier.
versatile. He can do many things.
I was talking to
The thing is, though, he can do things. Like I said, it's all right. Phil Neville, who used to play for Man United, he was versatile, but he was shit in every position. So it doesn't really matter. You've got to be good you've got to be world class at something and stick with that for me.
Look,
He's
no not
versatile.
Crawford isn't the type of guy who
all them traits. And when it comes to boxing, he's getting out boxed. He got out jabbed by Benavides, right? The straight punches last night. He had to switch stances. The southpaw stance that he likes to school everyone in, he was getting schooled himself, so he had to go back to orthodox.
He had to put his hands up.
Boxing skills.
Crawford, when he likes to box, so-called box, he'll do the stay on the outside, use his speed, and kind of touch and run, like the Postol fight, right? Or he's really coming in and banging it out with you. Me and Precise were talking about this at chatting. Those are really his two things. Like, he either has to, if he's scared of really staying right there with you, he's going to do what he did with Postol. Otherwise, he has to bring it to you. He's not the guy to stand in mid-range and slip and counter. He's not that guy at all.
He doesn't have that Canelo Alvarez defensive skills where he can counter off the guard.
Yeah.
He just
Can you give your take on Teofimo so I can give mine, Thunderdome?
hang on a second, Gonzalo. We're talking about. You can't butt in and.
No. Well, Bucho asked if we can speak about Teofimo, and he asked each other's takes. So I thought he was going to talk about.
Let's finish with this one.
We've got all night. We've got all night, Gonzalo. We can't just butt in a conversation, decide that you want to talk about something.
Well, Gonzalo, what do you think about Crawford then? Jump on that. Talk about that.
Crawford, he performed well. It was a good opponent. I think he realized that, if he was going to stand in front of the other guy and try to outbox him, the other guy was going to land his power punches. So why try to fight a guy boxing while the other guy outpunches you, throwing the harder shots? So he decided to trade tit for tat as far as power is concerned, because that's what he had to resort to. And I was impressed by the fact that I thought that Wilder wouldn't be able to hang around these 147 pounders because he looks kind of frail and vulnerable. But in the end, I could tell that he is a good sized 147 pounder, and he would have had to dig down and fight back. You could tell that he's strong, that he's not vulnerable at all. And that he's a good fighter.
Yeah, he's strong and he's durable at this weight. You can tell that because he took a lot of, very hard, just shots to the arms, body, chest, even to the head. And he handled them fairly well.
Yeah.
So that's more to your point. Yeah, he's, I think he's proven himself to be durable, at 47.
See, I don't think the PBC welterweights are any less stronger than Kavaliauskas. And as far as boxing skills, I think he can hang in there with Sean Porter. I think Ugas would give him problems because he got skills. He's a counterpuncher. He's a Cuban guy. That's big. That's big himself.
Who are you talking about right now, Kava or Crawford?
Crawford wouldn't have many issues with the PBC guys, and Errol Spence is really out of the picture. So how many guys does PBC really have at 147?
Ugas, Garcia, Porter, Thurman, and maybe Pacquiao, but I doubt that. So Ugas, Garcia, Thurman, and Porter. That's it. 4 dudes, really.
Yeah,
am I missing anyone?
I mean, they're definitely out there. They're guys with names, but it just seems to me that these guys are always caught up into something that they're not available. Maybe Garcia is available and Ugas, Porter as well. But then Pacquiao, well, he's 40, 41, and he's got about 3 fights left. And
dude, that Pacquiao fight is so dangerous for Crawford. So dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
Right, Gonzalo. Now you can tell us about your Teofimo afterthoughts, shall we say? Go ahead.
What about Thunder?
Go ahead, Gonzalo. Go ahead.
Teofimo mentioned Pacquiao.
Want me to start it?
I just thought. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Teofimo, like I briefly said last night, he did what I expected, but he did it. He did more than he almost did what I expected. I thought it would take a little longer, but he did it kind of and just bum rushed him. But Comey, I think a couple people are going to point this out, mostly G Boog's hard on this one, which is true. Comey kind of screwed himself because in the first 2 minutes of that first round, he was having legit success. I mean, he even landed a big-ass right hand on Teo. Then he started to throw hooks with the hooker, and that ended up costing him real quick. So, he screwed up by not sticking to his game plan and staying at long range. So that does take a little bit away of what I was able to learn from Teo, because I was hoping I'd get to see him, take away the guy's jab, then break him down and knock him out. Instead, it was more like a Tyson bum rush. Yeah, that's what I thought I was hoping.
I thought Comey was gonna come and do that. Keep Teofimo at range.
Yeah, everybody did. I don't know why he didn't.
I think it looked to me, what I saw of it. It looked to me that Comey came.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds.
Sorry.
4, 3,
It looked like Comey come to fight with a brawler.
1.
Yeah.
Blog Talk
But either way, I mean, Teo proved he beat a champ with ease. Regardless of what the other guy's game plan was, he bombed him up out of there. He's the champ, or a champ, so he's legit, absolutely legit. Is he still the same fighter he was? Yeah, he's still very limited. That's the one thing. You got to keep working on his tools.
That's my point last night, Thunderdome. It's not that I don't see any talent in this kid. I said I know he's a lot better than what I saw. But when I predict fights, I only go by the last performance. Like I said, it's no good me predicting a fight with someone's a performance 2 years ago. It's no good. I want to know what he was like a few months ago. What frame of mind he's in, how he's looking on the scales. That's how you predict fights. You can't just predict a fight. Oh, well, he beat this guy 2 years ago. He looks sensational. So, yeah, he's going to win this one. It don't work like that. I can only go, and like I said, next time he's in a fight, if it's not Lomachenko, I'll be giving him a bit more credit and I'll be giving him a better chance. But if he's in there with Lomachenko, I see one winner only.
Yeah, that's you don't go in to fight a guy like Lomachenko who has everything in spades, and you have a couple of things. That's it. You're quick, you're powerful, you're strong. Good reflexes. That's about it. That only takes you so far. Like, hey, I know he's riding high. His ego's big as hell right now, and so is his father's. And they probably think, keep pushing the chips in. We can win them all. Keep going. But eventually, they're gonna go bust. I'd settle down. I'd settle down with the kid. Keep teaching him different things. Each camp, work on something new.
Just no point sticking him in there with Lomachenko and getting his heart and soul taken from him. He's still a kid, man. Let him learn.
Yeah, what if that happens?
Devin Haney, I'm telling you now, Devin Haney, they need to take a big step back with him. Otherwise, he's going to go in there with a big fight like Lomachenko. He's going to get totally schooled, and it could be the finishing of him. These young kids, it's not good for them to be taking absolute schooling. I mean, Nicholas Walters, he took a schooling. He's not been seen since. I mean, he's hiding somewhere in Brazil, and I don't know where he is.
In his prime, just said, fuck it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Teofimo was kind of lucky in the...
For me, there's other options at 135. I'd stay away from Lomachenko. Definitely not a fight. That goes for Haney as well. I mean, if anything, stick Teofimo in there with Haney. But
he beats the shit out of Haney.
Yeah, well, if I was Eddie Hearn, I'd stick Haney in with Luke Campbell next.
Yeah, me too.
There you go. I think Teofimo might be a bit too strong for Devin Haney at the moment.
Luke Campbell is fighting. I believe he's fighting for Tuna for
he's
the
fighting
WBC.
Is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I believe that was. I don't know if it's confirmed, but I heard that as a rumor, at least.
That's the one thing about Eddie Hearn. That's one thing about Eddie Hearn. He seems to get his fighters, even though they get beat in these title shots, he'll get them another one. Liam Smith got 2 or 3 shots. I mean, this just shows you where Eddie Hearn is. If he can get Luke Campbell another shot, I mean, how many shots he had now? 3 or 4? I don't know. I mean, it's amazing, really.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give my take real quick. Recognize on Teofimo. He was kind of fortunate that Comey was right there in front of him to trade. They traded right hands, and he got caught. You could say he got caught kind of cold, but it was actually a perfect punch to where they hadn't really settled in. If anything, I would have been a Comey. I would have moved around, looked for like different angles, and tried to outbox him in the beginning. But he got caught by a big puncher early in the fight.
Like I said earlier, Gonzalo, that shot that Teofimo threw was technically superb. The way he turned it, the way he landed clean on the button, he planted his feet properly, he threw the shot properly. I mean, that is just a textbook how to throw a KO punch on the button. And
but you see here now, Stu. The thing is, he's the champion now. So what is it? The IBF champion, and Lomachenko's looking to unify. So that fight will most likely happen. And he even got into the ring, and Bob Arum was with him.
What I'm saying is that fight could happen, but I don't think it's going to be very good for Teofimo, a 22-year-old boy. I mean, like I said, he didn't look great in his last fight, right? Lomachenko is going to bamboozle him, and that can set young fighters back a few years. I mean, look for real. He sets you back a few years, Lomachenko, when he's on his game. And I don't know. I'd keep Teofimo. I'd keep Teofimo away from Lomachenko. I'd go after the other guys, to be honest with you.
Here, look at it.
There's no rush, man. There's no rush. Why put him in there with Loma to get an absolute fucking schooling?
Look at it like this, guys. Like from an actual boxing perspective. Let's say we are Team Teo. We literally train him and everything. He just won last night. We're happy. Our next fight's Loma. What the fuck is our game plan? We are Team Teo. We train him. We create his game plans. Everything needed. We do it all. What is the game plan that we give him to go defeat Lomachenko?
Well, like I said with Lomachenko, the problem with Lomachenko, he's got you thinking so many things in the ring. He actually mentally drains you. So and he gets to the stage where he's constantly fainting in and out, and you're trying to work out what to do, and you end up doing nothing because he confuses you that much. And then before you know it, you lose a bit of will or lose a bit of heart for the fight, and you're getting pieced up with combinations, and he takes your soul from you.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That's what happened.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
He got a chance.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Yeah?
The only thing I could suggest is bum rush him and try to bully him, rough him up like a fucking crazy, and hopefully get a knockout. And just dirty, rough fight.
I think that's the way.
And
I think the way,
can you hear me? Guys, can you hear me?
I think Go on, Butcho. Go ahead.
Okay,
Butcho.
I'm just testing the phone lines. All right, I'm gonna hang up now. Continue.
Okay, yeah, we can hear you. What was we talking about? We were talking about Teofimo, weren't we?
Yeah, you can rub him up like Salido, or try to land that straight right hand like Linares.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that Salido game plan's not going to work anymore. It might have worked in his second professional fight when he was throwing single shots and he was an amateur style sort of fighter. This Lomachenko is a different animal altogether. That is not going to work. You're going to get pieced up. You have to have long arms, straight punches, good world-class straight punches like Linares, Pedraza. You've got a power on the end of them shots.
Very quick and fast.
You're going to have to knock Lomachenko out.
You got to ice. Here's the thing. You got to ice Lomachenko. If
you're
I
think that's what you got to do. Yeah.
Yeah, because you see, going into the fight with Comey, I knew that Teofimo's moments are early because he's a flashy fighter. He's very fast. He can catch you. He could be awkward for you, but as the fight goes along, and
he becomes a lot more basic.
Exactly, he becomes a lot more basic, and for a guy like Lomachenko who has more tools, more experience, that is going to be a huge problem for Teofimo if that fight's to pop off.
A young, basic fighter in round 6 with Lomachenko is fucking done.
Food. It's food.
Done. Food, yeah, food. Does he want to play with it or just eat it right now?
I just want to say to everybody, the phone lines are open, so please call in. Number is on your screen. You guys can go ahead.
Looks long-armed, says P-Sib. I thought Teo has kind of stubby arms. Doesn't he?
I kind of like a midget.
Not that stubby, but they're not long.
Yeah.
Well,
like Canelo type.
Yeah.
The thing here that could be kind of his advantage as far as you were saying, Thunderdome, that the youth, it'd be about his only chance in the power, because Loma started his career 126, is ending at 35. He moved up 3 divisions, is ending his career there, and Teofimo's just starting at 35, but really he's big.
Big 35er.
Yeah.
Good point.
And he's a young guy. He can get away with it when he's young. He won't be dehydrated because, he's just young. He's 22 years old.
Good point.
By the time he ends up stepping into the ring, he'll be considerably larger than Lomachenko. That's the advantage he does have.
Yardman, I just want to confront Yardman, who decided to make the most retarded comment I've ever seen on the BDA chat, and that alone is some achievement because we're a haven for retards. This guy's put Lomachenko has fought nobody. Now, you were saying that when the Axeman was about, so he won't fight Walters, he'll get knocked the fuck out. We all know what happened there. Rigondeaux will break his jaw just like he did Jazza Dickens. We all know what happened there.
Yeah.
The list goes on and on, innit? The list goes on and on about these guys. He's got no resume. I mean, let's be real. How many fights has Lomachenko had? Go and see who Terrence Crawford was fighting after their mini fights, and Errol Spence and them guys. Go and see how many. We won't even talk about Wilder. Did Wilder even leave the fucking shopping centres after that many fights? He was fighting.
Wilder was still fighting guys with double-digit losses in like his late 20s, early 30 fights.
Stu, just take your emotions out of it, emotions and opinion out of it. Just put down facts. No other fighter in the history of this sport has fought as many world champions or ex-world champions in their first 14 fights. And he was making some quit. Anybody who tries to denounce
14
his
fights,
resume is an imbecile and shouldn't be watching the sport. Sorry, Stu.
He's gone at 3 divisions and won the belts, right? He's a free-weight champion in 14 fights, yeah, unified champion. I mean, beat some real good names. I don't care what anyone says. He's got a very good resume for me. So Yardman, I don't know if Lomachenko's fought nobody. You find me a better. Don't mention Canelo. We'll give you that one. Other than Canelo, there's not many other guys out there.
I honestly think Loma has the better resume than Canelo.
I don't see it. Usyk's got a better resume than Lomachenko, I think. I'm not sure. That's a close one. What do you reckon, boys?
Yeah, that's a close one. Sure. That's a close one.
It's really what you're looking for.
Hey, can I say something about the fucking? Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jim.
No, I was just going to say something about the Lopez Lomachenko fight. If that was to go off next, as confident I was about Lopez taking him out in the first few rounds. I think I tweeted out first four, or might have DM'd it. I don't know. But I said, as confident as I was about that, him beating Comey, I'm that confident Lomachenko beats Lopez. And because did you see the knockout punch? It was like the end of Rocky. They both fucking squared off and both threw the haymaker, standing right there, head on a platter. Are you kidding me? Does anybody with an IQ above a fucking sneaker think Lomachenko is going to stand in the first 4 rounds at any time? If you put a stopwatch on him, he won't have stagnated movement for the first 4 rounds. His hands will be moving, his head will be moving. Yeah. He'll be fucking going, dotting in and out. He'll have him biting at feints. He'll catch him hard with a quick shot. Then he'll throw his next jab at the chest.
He'll just whiffing at air.
He'll be exactly whiffing at right now with what he's had. Because like you look at up until just recently, look at his resume, dude. Man, he was knocking out nobodies. He's never had, and because he's been able to power through people, that's why amateur records count. You see how they did in the amateurs. You know what I mean? How did they lose in the amateurs? Did they get badly outpointed where, the power doesn't count as much? And it just to say Lomachenko, and then, I understand the people in the pros, that don't matter. 495-1 as an amateur. That's fucking
and he
insane.
avenged that loss.
And he avenged it twice. He beat the dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To I don't give a fuck. And again, anybody tries to start too. I know some people like, oh, he's a white guy, white hope. I have more in common with black people in the United States than I do with a Ukrainian. I wouldn't like his
No
food.
shit.
I don't like
Good
his
point.
music. I don't like his clothes. I don't have nothing in common with that dude. Nothing culturally. There's no cultural commonality between Lomachenko and me. So, you know, I don't buy into that. Then it would come down to just our skin color, which is a crock of shit. In effect, you know what I mean? But that motherfucker is a prodigy. I've been around this game for many fucking years. And when you guys I've watched him fight with Mickey Ward, and I've seen Mickey. I sit there, and of course, I try to always watch Mickey's reaction to shit. And he sits there with his jaw open, going, "That's nuts. That's nuts."
Yeah.
So when you got
Listen,
fucking dudes
if
who did that for a
Lomachenko
living
was
saying that,
if Lomachenko was African American, mate, he'd have his own. He'd have his own sneaker.
Yeah,
Not
you
like
might go Jordan
Nike
bronze
Lomachenko.
statue.
or Tiger
what I
Woods,
mean.
something like that.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. I mean, the guy. If you can't see talent in Lomachenko, you got no business watching boxing, talking about it, or even commenting on it. Really, I mean, and that's why for years. I mean, you can go back; it's all on the archives. I can't, you know, evidence is there. I've been saying when people were talking about Rigondeaux fighting Lomachenko, I said Lomachenko will smoke this clown. This guy doesn't bring anything that's going to trouble Lomachenko. He doesn't have the work rate. He doesn't have the heart. He doesn't have the stomach. Not big enough. I mean, the list goes on. So, you know, what are you going to do? Throw 4 punches around to beat Lomachenko? I mean, what fucking planet these people?
I remember you
seems
saying
that
that on the Boxing Voice. I remember hearing you saying that.
I was getting stick, mate. Oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Rigondeaux is one of the greatest fighters in the last 2 decades. No, he's not. If that's one of the greatest fighters of the last 2 decades, no wonder boxing's suffering. Because he's
Ness started it up, but he almost started crying during the fight. He was heartbroken.
Listen, it
Fred
weren't just
Hawthorne-
that. It weren't just the Lomachenko fight. Every time that guy had a chance to shine on a big card, he stunk the joint out. That's not a great fight to me.
In the chat, Neil says if Loma was black, you wouldn't know him. Facts.
We wouldn't know him.
Yeah.
What, 495
Yeah,
professional? I mean, amateur
Oh no, we're
fight.
not going to know Loma. We know Richard Comey. That fucking guy got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, no, we know Richard Comey from Ghana. So I don't know any black fighters. So I started talking about obscure black
we're
fighters.
not going to know black American, but we're going to know Comey and Dogbo and all them and fucking. You know what I mean? And Tetty. We know all them, but we're not going to know. And I forget that.
Yeah, I know. I saw that comment too.
He said facts.
Yeah, we wouldn't know the best fighter in the world, huh?
Tribalism is a fucking funny thing, huh?
And what's with these
I'll tell you
haters
what, no, let's be
still
real.
bringing up
If Devin
Salido?
Haney, if Devin Haney was a white American, he wouldn't be getting any sort.
None. That's a good one. You wouldn't even. That's someone you actually would not know.
Yeah, the whole thing about bringing up Salido when that was in his second fight. And don't forget, even though Salido did have a lot of losses, he was a big guy, came overweight, who was the next world champion.
With a lot
And
of
he
experience.
basically lost. I mean, he fucking hit the guy with like 30 nut shots. He lost.
And it was his second fight, and it's probably the best fight. You know what I mean? It was the best thing that ever happened to him. It taught him to be a professional. He learned a professional game. You know what I mean? From that fight, there's nothing to hang his head in. And if it went on 2 more rounds, Salido himself said, if this was the only 15 rounder, I'd no way I wouldn't have survived.
If you look at the facts behind that fight, it was an absolute disgrace that Bob Arum let it happen. Right, 147 pounds. Right, the guy was like 3 or 4 pounds overweight on the scales.
That was Lomachenko's family, dude. Bob didn't wanted to pull it. Bob did not. Bob was against it.
That's on them then.
On
right?
them,
That's
it was. Yeah, they thought they still could beat him.
Then you look at that. Then you look at all the low blows, and then you look at the way Salido was just hanging on for dear life at the end. I think what happened was I think Lomachenko went in there with an amateur game plan, realised you when you get a tough Mexican in front of you, mate, the single punches and it's not going to work. You know, you can't pitter-patter your way away from these guys. They're just going to walk through your punches and they're going to throw whatever they can hit. Arms, fucking hips.
Look up the referee's comments on that fight. Look up his own statement on that fight.
Look, Lomachenko.
What did he say? I want to hear this.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm the delay again. I didn't mean to step on. He said, actually, he's commented on it a few times. He had some people wrote that they should take his license, blah, blah, blah. That's the reason why he commented on it. He said, looking back, it was definitely not my brightest moment. And then he said 6 months later in an interview, he said, yeah, no, that was definitely my worst fight. He said, going back, I missed a lot of things. I should have taken multiple points off Salido. So that would have given Lomachenko to fight. Listen, no matter what, if anybody points to Salido, the minute somebody does that, the minute somebody tries to quantify his talent by Salido, I look at him, I say, dude, fuck off.
It just shows their ignorance.
Yeah.
Listen,
you don't know.
for me, Lomachenko brought that on himself because I actually had, even with all that, I actually had Lomachenko winning that fight. But he brought that on himself. Took far too long to adjust. The minute he started going to the body, he was piecing Salido up. He was crumbling in a heap. Just left it too long. Why? He didn't throw a body shot for 10 rounds. And that is the problem with the style he came in with. That old amateur style where there's someone pressing a button every time there's a glove landed. It don't work like that in the pros. And I think he learned that very quickly, even though I thought he won the fight.
And listen, I keep hearing, this boxer would have never lost to Salido. This other boxer would have never lost to Salido. Those boxers that people mentioned that wouldn't have lost to Salido would have never fought Salido in their second professional fight. And that is a fact, man. Yeah. The guy was saying the fact that
Terrence
that's a
Crawford
fact.
fight in his second fight. I'll tell you what, the guy's not even got a Wikipedia page. You'll never know. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Imbecile conflations. An imbecile conflation is still an imbecile comment. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be like trying to argue a point with someone in the cast from Born This Way. It's like, get the fuck out of here, dude. You know what I mean? It's like now it's insultive to the people who know the game when you talk to people like that. When people say stupid shit like that, it's like they don't even know self-awareness. The dude was on his second pro fight. Everybody else in his second pro fights fighting a guy with a record 2-17. Who
Like
fucking
Susan,
his nickname's Canvasback.
No Wikipedia.
You know what I mean? This dude was fighting.
Let's say he did lose to Salido like fair and square even.
So
Who
what?
cares? Look what he did afterwards.
Exactly. It's like
And Salido didn't want the rematch.
born with
So
sin.
what's that say? And what did he do after the fight?
Like he
Come
cannot
on.
redeem himself, basically. That's what they say. These people don't understand boxing. It's all about the O. The O. All right, hold on. We have
Mayweather
Pete.
phenomenon.
Exactly. Thank you, Floyd. We have Pete here. And I just want to remind people the phone lines are open. And call in, please. Let us know if you disagree with us. Mr. BDA is in the chat. Shout out to Mr. BDA. Jimmy, since you got here, what do you think about Teofimo?
Well, I predicted it
Oh, yeah, no, sorry, you
early.
already talked about, sorry.
I said the first
Crawford.
4 rounds.
Yeah,
I
no,
said a
I know
knockout by first 4. He's that explosive, but that's more of my lack. I don't want to say disrespect, lack of respect. I just was never very high on Comey because of his defensive. He leaves his head out there, like most Ghanaian fighters. You know, they're a tough kid, and he seems like a nice kid. And I hope he invests properly. But yeah, no, I never thought he stood a chance in that fight. Actually, I just got a DM of. I said Friday to somebody asked me in a what was mine. I said the first 4. He'll be out in the first 4. Take him out in the first 4. That's how confident I was. Yeah, no, I just because of Comey. But against Lomachenko would have him exhausted, mentally exhausted, before the fucking 5th, 6th round, just by the movements.
According to
I just
our
can't stress how
predictions,
hard it is with someone with feints.
I was just about to say, according to our predictions, predicted Lopez by majority decision, corruption, Lopez 7th, Stu Comey by the split decision, Gonzalo Lopez 10th, Thunderdome Lopez 9th, G Boogie Lopez 8th, and then Bucho, Mr. BDA, Jimmy, Lopez unanimous decision. So that was the early Jimmy prediction because then he tweeted something else.
Yeah, well, yesterday, last time I called in, you asked, you said, what's your prediction? I said, because I went back and watched all Comey fights. Remember, I said I needed to watch them, and I did, and and I said early knockout, and I actually just came to in a group DM. You're in it too.
Yeah,
well,
I saw it.
Bucho was, and it's and I said he'll take him out in the first 4 rounds.
Yep.
I was pretty impressed with Lopez. I have to say. I mean, I'm not saying it means automatically he's the best in the world, but it was an impressive win because I thought Comey would be. I thought he would weather the storm of Teofimo's just raw talent in the beginning, because I think he becomes very predictable after that. But the fact that he wasn't even able to get out of the second round, that is impressive, man. Mm-hmm. That's an impressive win for him.
First Honduran champion ever.
Are you guys feeling the? I asked this to Stu, but I want to know if you guys are feeling the Teofimo the Teomania that a lot of people are getting. Are you getting it?
I mean, he's a good kid. He's good to watch.
You got it.
He got it. I can see this.
Put it this way: I'm higher on Virgil Ortiz than I am on Teofimo
Yeah,
Lopez.
I think I'm gonna say with Jimmy. I agree with that, man. I think I'm more impressed with Virgil right now than Teofimo. Let's see Teofimo do this. You know, it looks like they want to throw him right away with Lomachenko. I think that's gonna turn out to be a mistake, but let's see. You know,
he should be gunning for Haney. He should be gunning for other things. He's just looking for the big payday. I don't think it's hot in it.
His age.
And you could tell, listen, his wife doesn't like the sport. You can hear it in her voice. You can hear it in her just her talking about it. And then the fact that when she's watching, she's almost got tears in her eyes and she's like nervous. No, this is not going to be, it's going to come down. She's going to be like, you got enough money, get out. And you got that shit in your ear at home. And he's obviously head over heels in love with her, taking her over family and shit.
You can't have that in your ear.
No, but it's a hard thing, man.
Well, somebody in the chat is saying that, I don't know if he's talking to us.
Champion.
All right, hold on.
No doubt.
Somebody's saying that we act as if Salih is a bum. I don't know if he's talking to somebody else or to us, but listen, he was a veteran. He's still a veteran. But when he fought Lomachenko, he was a veteran, a lot of experience, and he was a decent boxer. Yeah, we remember when he beat Juan Manuel Lopez in Puerto Rico. He was a good fighter. So we're giving more credit to Lomachenko at this point here. Because Lomachenko, basically, he should have beaten a very experienced fighter in his second professional fight.
Yeah, basically, I thought he won that fight. It was close. I thought that if it wasn't for Salido's low blows, he gets blown out. I think that was a learning lesson for Lomachenko. There's a reason why Salido didn't want to take the second fight. I think he understood he was about to get a beating in the second fight, so...
Oh, yeah, he would have stopped him. I would have guaranteed he would have stopped him in the second.
Hey, guys, we have a phone call.
Kind of sucks. Salido ended up robbing liquor stores for beer when he retired.
Oh, yeah.
Would have got good money for that.
805
says ESPN changed the L to a draw. Did you guys see that? What's he talking about? What are you talking about?
Just ignore that. There's no point.
What's that?
No point. There's no point. All right. 805, you're on the air. 805.
Hey, what's happening? How you doing? I just called in because I kind of what I noticed more than anything, the theme of after last night's boxing is just how much people hate Lomachenko. And the main topic all morning is people kind of like talking about how fat and out of shape Loma looks, and he's probably not even going to make weight in the future. They're already picking him apart just by the way supposedly he looked. They're like, look at his cheeks. His cheeks are all fat and chubby. Look, he's got rolls in his stomach. Zoom in on his stomach. I don't know if you guys
who
saw
said
any of
that. Who said they had rolls?
This dude doesn't have a single roll. He's in great shape.
No fucking way. His father's the fucking strength and conditioning coach.
He is in tremendous shape right now.
Tremendous shape.
He's perfect. All right.
Yeah, he's always got his shirt off the clock. Correct. Yeah, he's not fat. He's just probably holding water because he's not all shredded up. I mean, it comes down to just looking for anything. But
exactly.
You know, the guy will be fucking 27-0 with fucking crazy resume, and he'll finally lose, and they'll say, "Ha ha, exposed."
He was hype.
It's just disgusting.
I was talking about me.
No.
How dare you, sir?
Yeah. How dare you?
Well, I don't think it's the call. I think he was saying that's what he saw people saying.
Yeah.
Right. And the other thing too that they're going crazy on is like, yeah, Teofimo had a good win last night. It was he caught him with the right hand coming in, but just because of that, they're already saying that Tank's in trouble, Haney's in trouble, and Lomachenko's in trouble because Teofimo's gonna take them all out, and it's like just all like this is repetitive, like person after person reposting these kind of thoughts, and it's just fucking funny how much they hate Lomachenko or pretty much anybody. Like, or it just take any opportunity to just start kind of talking shit about people being afraid of somebody off of one punch. Supposedly everyone's afraid of Teofimo now in 24 hours.
First, the guy he was supposed to beat. Remember that.
dude, you want to see all the fucking, and it's the other shit. You want to see if there's people just so full of shit. Then you just look at this when he took on Rigondeaux. Remember, the same people who for years were saying Rigondeaux would school him. So again, he just absolutely whitewashes Rigondeaux. The kid quits.
In
Then
fashion
people
that we've never seen before from two
exactly.
fighters.
And then after that, it was big fucking deal. He came up 2 weeks like that's was, and if you even try to use that as an impressive thing that he'd be Rigondeaux, that was their first response. Within a year, Spence does the same thing, takes on the dude who comes up in essence 2 weight classes, because even 140 is too big for Garcia. He carries too much fat, and he even said 135 is his ideal size. Then he fucking goes all 12, couldn't even stop him. And fucking, I liked the way somebody described it. He said in a fight that nobody would keep in their fucking, nobody saved in their DVR. I thought that was an awesome. But you know what I mean. So you know what I mean. So like now that fight vaulted him into pound for pound territory. The same exact same thing, but a more emphatic beating and embarrassment. That, you know what I mean? A whitewashing got him zero credit. In fact, you got him scorned for taking on the little guy. And then you go to the same thing that Spence does. Now he's pound for pound. You want the one ingredient that's missing there? Fucking, it comes down to just tribalism. That's it. That's the only thing that ties all that in. Bullshit.
That's absolutely it. That's all it. That's all
Yeah,
that
and
matters
also
with these
Errol
people.
Spence fans are acting like nothing happened last night too.
Except that
he still has fans.
Well, you hear what he called what did he say about what did he say about Tim Bradley? Of course, Tim Bradley called out the welterweights in the PBC. And then Breadman Edwards was kind of weird because his guy's not even a welterweight. He's like, you should all PBC fighters. But anyway, so Errol Spence's response was, "Shut your coon ass up."
What?
Bradley.
No.
Wow.
Shut your coon
Who
ass
said
up.
that? Errol Spence.
Errol Spence said it with a bunch of laughing emojis. With the
He's
tongue
a
out.
piece of shit.
That's exactly the first thing that someone wrote. Yeah, in Instagram, you're a piece of shit.
He's
so
a piece
not only
of shit.
so he goes the race thing, calls him a fucking coon, and that's like, and if you actually go to the Urban Dictionary, look up, coon, and it's the first thing. It's equivalent to a white person calling a black person an. So it's to that degree. So he's basically calling him, a fucking farm. House. NIG, type of shit, saying kissing the white man's ass. Like, why would you try? So you denigrate everything. He's an ex-military. I wasn't never a big Tim Bradley fan, first off, just because I thought him kind of boring. But you know what I mean? Listen, I liked him. So I'm saying I was never I wasn't buying his tickets. I wasn't going to see his fights. But I like his character, though. But I'm not knocking his character at all, right? Exactly. Yeah. Fucking ex-military man, with the same woman, a father, and then you sit there and you call and you degrade him. You call him a coon.
Yeah, and this is one of the most stand-up guys in all of boxing. Like, just a good fucking dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, that's
but Sean Porter, they think they're about Sean Porter as well. I mean, anyone that's got a bit of
normalcy to him,
dignity about them, anyone that's got a bit of dignity and a bit of class about them, is an Uncle Tom for these fucking clowns. I mean, let's be real.
A fool, and they'll be your biggest fan.
Well, yeah, that's how it seems to me. I mean, let's be real. I think Spencer's got a bit of fucking brain damage going on there, which smashed his Ferrari up.
Well, that's just it too. Bob Arum is saying that he was told by a good source that he will be out indefinitely. He'll be out for a long time, probably not even back next year. And if the Spence fight was to ever happen with Crawford, it wouldn't be until 2022, more than likely.
Listen, let's be real.
Yeah, he got fucked up, that means.
Listen, Errol Spence is not relevant enough for us to give a fuck for when he comes back. We'll forget about him. I can tell you by March, his name will be forgotten. Because he's not relevant.
I already forgot about him because he isn't relevant anymore.
He isn't.
And if you guys are looking for that, what he said, it was on Snapchat. I believe somebody showed me in a DM.
Is it real? Can we confirm it's real?
Spence is no longer relevant until he comes back and fights again, and we see how he looks in that fight. Until then, he's done. He's gone.
That's exactly my point.
And how about the self-awareness of the fucking father of two, the 32-year-old father of two, just flipped over his Ferrari drunk, right? Calling the fucking ex-military guy there. You know what I mean? It's like, it's funny.
Upstanding citizen. All right, Michael, go ahead.
Hey, call me crazy, but I think honestly that's probably, it sounds kind of weird, but it's probably the best thing that ever happened to Errol Spence in his career. He's probably going to come back when everybody else is pretty much out of the division, and he's going to be older, and he's probably going to have a better advantage when everybody's gone.
Michael, by the way,
you're a fucking nut, whoever this is.
But if he's that injured, though, Mike, right? But if he's that injured, then wouldn't that stand to mean that he's got an injury so severe it's probably going to hamper him if it keeps him out of boxing that long?
I don't even think he's injured. I think it's all an act. But that's a conspiracy. But
could be, dude. I don't like this
car, dude. I think that was some Fast and Furious Hollywood stunt shit.
I don't like the scar discoloring. I don't like that. That's a bad when a scar discoloring, like what he had in his face.
Yeah.
It's
not just that, right? It's not just that recognised. This guy, right, in between camps, the guy's walking around at 190 pounds. He's massive, man. And, you know, last time I saw him at camp, he looked like fucking Lawrence Fishburne. Do you know what I mean? Get out of here, man.
I saw him in person.
We'll have to wait and see.
Listen, if he's not in camp regularly, right, then he's going to go terribly out of shape because you see how he blows up, how big he gets. Errol Spence is not going to he's not a guy that goes in the gym and just ticks over and keeps in shape, just keeps his, fitness going.
When I saw him in person, he looked pretty chunky. When I saw him in person, for his height. For his height.
The first thing he tweeted after his last fight, one of the first things he tweeted about was he needs to fucking get a condition and strength and conditioning coach, and someone's going to teach him how to eat properly. Yeah. So
He's probably eating a lot of fried food.
He's going to be back by summertime. So
he probably put a big down payment on that guy and then crashed the next day.
He's going to be ready for the summer, according to the
Dude,
PBC.
him laying in bed. Think of this. He's going to be laying in bed, injured, on his favorite drug, lean, or some sort of opiates, eating like a motherfucker for months. This guy's going to be 200 plus in no time. I'm not joking. You think he's watching his weight? He's in such a severe depression. He don't give a fuck about the world, man.
Did you say purple drinking Vicodin?
Yes.
He's called lean. All right. That's what I thought you were talking about.
It's like that, did you see that movie Dodgeball where the guy's real skinny, but in the end he blows up because he eats a lot?
I mean, he's the type of fighter that does eat a lot, and he's going to be on his ass for months with no fucking possible thought of a fight coming.
I just said, man, he's not a guy that goes in the gym and ticks over. This is not Vladimir Klitschko we're talking about here. This is Errol Spence.
He needs to be disciplined to keep the 140 to keep the 147 weight. So
they're repeating the whole narrative. Like Ray Mancini got in a crash, made a big comeback. This is going to be Errol Spence's big story.
Manny was gonna hold on. I got to answer two questions. Neil Mathis, Errol says, Errol has never missed weight. What are you guys talking about? It's not about missing weight. It's how much he blows up in between. Have you not been listening? Sorry.
And he's suffering. He's talking about how he's suffering in camp. The problem is when people half your camp is all right, brother. Yep.
And then did Manny fight Paul Williams? Well, obviously not, Themis, but this is on record with an interview I did with Paul Williams' coach that if Paul Williams won that
I saw that interview.
Sergio Martinez fight, they already had a deal. Pacquiao was his very next fight. But he got knocked out. Yeah. So he would have, but P. Will lost, sadly.
Yeah, Manny Pacquiao was crazy back then. He'll fight you if you're 6'3". He didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, people have to realize Manny was already like, yep, put me in the ring.
Yeah, Pacquiao was crazy. He was just a crazy man. He's like, I don't care.
Well,
about that.
Thunderdome, you guys know how camps usually 8 weeks, long camps are 12. I say anything over 8 is silly. You overtrain. Yeah. But the problem with Spence is, and this happened in his last camp, when you spend your first 4 weeks of your camp shredding weight, when most of your camp is prioritized around becoming a fat camp, that's a problem. Lack of discipline. But it's the boxers who keep themselves, who are professional boxers all year round. Not to just mention Mickey because I know him, but I do know him, and I know for a fact, like that dude never was more than 12. And if he hit to 15 pounds above fight weight, he would freak out. Yeah. But he never was 10 to 12 pounds over. He could be ready, like you tell all his promoters knew. All I need is to give me 14 days. That's all. So
yeah, I never understood that.
That's the way it is. That's
I never understood how these guys get so big. 20, 30 pounds overweight over their fighting weight, and then have to like spend camp, cutting that weight down. It's like, fuck.
It's because
20 to 30 pounds.
This is the life of a fighter. You're broke, like your whole entire life. Then all of a sudden you get a nice lump of cash and you spend it all really quick, and you're broke till your next fight. Hopefully you get another lump of cash, and then you get into that routine. It's like us people living check to check. They live fight to fight. During fight camp, most fighters are broke already again, and they're waiting on this next check. So when they get this big lump of cash, it's like woo, and they go hard in celebrating. That's part of human nature somehow, with anything. But
especially when you're young and you came from nothing, that means you have no training in how to deal with money. Oh, it's a disaster. I speak from experience, and I just know, from watching other people that made a lot of money.
You need someone that has money and knows how to keep their money around you.
Exactly, bro.
Well, food is a fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just don't spend it. Don't spend it. Yeah.
All right, people in the chat. By the way, that phone. Michael, anything else?
Oh yeah, hey, one last thing. There's breaking news. Did you guys hear that Andy Ruiz released pictures that he's letting all his fans know he is back in the gym and he is hitting hard?
I don't want to hear his name. That's it. He's going on the list. No more mentioning. His name is not accepted on this channel.
Yeah, I have no use for that dude.
Nah.
No use for him.
For 3 months. We don't want to hear his name.
Can we talk about Ryan Garcia still?
I guess so. Yeah, sure. Mr. BDA would like this.
Okay. He's going to beat Teofimo Lopez, and that's all I got to say.
Whoa, nah, get out of here. All right, that's it. Thanks for the phone call. All right. Nah, that's crazy. All right.
Nice fight. I'd like to see that fight.
Believe it or not, if
make it happen.
No, I was gonna say. Oh, never mind.
Make it happen.
Sorry, I thought it was on mute.
You see, the thing in that division, you have a bunch of superstars in the making too. I doubt it where you're gonna have a Teofimo facing a Haney fighting what's a short guy with Mayweather.
That's the problem. That's the problem. Everybody wants to be a chief. That's what it is.
Yeah,
everybody
wants to be a chief. No Indians. Too many chiefs.
Yeah, everybody's a chief. There's no Indians to fight.
By the way, people, the phones are open. Don't be shy. Call in.
That's a great saying, man, because all these young guns think they are the chief. Virgil Ortiz is the Indian. He's a wild Indian fighting and killing everyone.
Yeah.
All right. I was about to say that the phone lines are open, and let me know if my sound is too low.
He's trying to show off his feet.
Oh shit!
You got a pedicure.
Okay.
It wouldn't be so bad if Teofimo faces Lomachenko, so Lomachenko could become undisputed, realize his dream, and then Teofimo could be like Canelo, where he had a loss, he got schooled, but he rebounds back and learns from it.
I doubt it'll be the next one, though.
Go down in weight to 130.
I don't think it'll be the next fight, only because Lomachenko, I think, would want to be more active because of injuries. He's been, less active, and he's going to need to be like on his A game because it's going to all be about stamina and how long he can, bedazzle the fucking puncher. And without a doubt, Teofimo Lopez obviously is a very emotional kid. You get inside his. You know what I mean? You make a miss, you snicker at him, you do shit like that, blow him a kiss. That'll fucking get him going.
All right, we have a phone call. 484, you're on the air. 484.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's Jackson. I have a few comments about the fights. I want to say this. I'm a Crawford fan. I really thought Crawford was exposed a little bit at the highest level. I mean, I saw him get dropped, and I didn't see any really good technical boxing abilities. I just saw him kind of outstrength, and he was just too big and strong for that guy. I think most of the top welterweights will beat Spence. Like Sean Porter will be all over him. I think even Spence with no head movement will beat him. And the other fight, I just want to say, was a little strange. Like, Comey just seemed happy to be there. I don't think he was like, I don't know. That fight just seemed a little different. But I thought Crawford was exposed, honestly. And I like Crawford.
Some people
obviously
say
not that much.
Interesting take. Can you elaborate on why a reason or two, major reasons that you say he was kind of exposed by Kavaluskas?
Yeah, I just didn't see any very good technical boxing skills. Like, I didn't see the jab. I didn't see. I mean, he was. What's the other guy's name? Or I don't know how you say his last name. The Mean Machine. I mean, he was taking rounds off him. He dropped Crawford, and then Crawford just was too much. I just saw. I mean, and he shouldn't be able to be getting out boxed like that. And Crawford, just his size and his strength, he just got to the guy. He just couldn't overpower him. So can you see him?
Cavaliers, I mean, Mean Machine's a bigger dude, naturally bigger guy, too, to begin with.
I totally agree with the caller. Crawford got outboxed. It's only when he started.
But Stu, I think a lot of people. Oh, sorry.
He had the bite down on the mouthpiece.
Right, let's Stu finish. Go ahead, Stu.
Thank you. When he started getting behind his guy, just strolling forward and throwing punches, Kavalaskas could just cope with the size and the power. When he tried to box, he was getting outboxed by a smaller guy. That for me, especially with the arms length and the actual height as well. Crawford looked the bigger guy in there for me. I don't care what anyone says, and I just think that size and that power, and the fact that Kavalaskas is not very durable, should we say? I think that's what won him the fight. Because let's be real, when it came to just boxing early on, he was getting outboxed. And how can that be? I thought he was this pound for pound number one boxer. You know, but he was getting outboxed by a guy that I've seen him fight once.
Okay, hold on. Let me ask this guy. Can I ask a question to the caller?
Jackson.
Do you say exposed as in exposed that he isn't like a top 1, 2, 3 pound fighter?
He's not pound for pound number one. No way.
Okay,
like,
I agree with you 100% on that.
Saying he was better than Lomachenko? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. If anybody, I can say he was exposed with this fight. That anyone who had him in the top even 3 should now take him out.
Bro, I would agree with that.
He has to be taken out.
This guy Crawford, actually, he impressed me in this fight. Now, that doesn't mean that I got him pound for pound number one. No, that's not what it means. I mean that he could take a punch. I mean, he's always getting hit. I wanted to see somebody hit him with some power, and I knew Kavaluskas was going to be a problem for him in the first couple of rounds. I already knew that because of his style and what Stu always said about him with his leaky defense and how he sticks around in that box, and you can catch him, and that's what happened.
Can I just say to jump onto that same point, brother?
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say to your point, and on top of that, like he's fighting a guy whose best hand is just right. I mean, knowing that and to fight him as a southpaw was like he was letting other fighters who fight know. Like, I mean, obviously, and you guys know because you guys know the fight game. That's the worst stance to be in is a southpaw stance against the fucking guy whose power comes from the right hand because that's where you're exposed to it. So he stood in that position. He could have changed it any time. If he would have went over to orthodox, I think he would have absolutely dominated him. But he wanted he made it messy. But I think the way he fucking once he was pissed, the way he started tagging him, he does move southpaw to orthodox seamlessly, and he's just a tough kid, and he can fucking hit. I just think I just don't see anybody on the PBC side taking him out. And I'm not putting him out like I don't have him above Lomachenko or even Usyk.
Spence, healthy Spence beating for me.
That's cool.
Everybody on the PBC side gives him a good fight, and that's not to knock Terrence Crawford. That's not a knock on him. All those guys give him a
I think
really
it could
good
go
fight.
either way
Yeah, no, that's a fair.
with all those
I think
guys.
that's a fair assessment of it. Is saying, look, they haven't fought, and like Crawford can't be hit. I mean, you're telling me Danny can't land one on him? You're telling me Keith Thurman can't land one? Porter, Manny Pacquiao? Like, yes, these guys are very capable of catching Crawford. But what Crawford showed me was, and I like this, and this is why I like the fight, even though people were shitting on it for their own agenda or for legit reasons. I'm not going to even say that it was totally off base. What I'm saying is that Kavaluskas was going to test that chin, and I knew he would because Crawford gets hit.
Yeah, he's vulnerable in that sense, but he's not vulnerable in the sense that now we realize he is a big guy for 147. He's not small.
Look, he's vulnerable, but he's not. If I'm sure most of you have been around long enough, he's vulnerable, but not vulnerable like Jeff Lacey.
No.
You remember what I mean?
Yeah.
Him getting hit makes the fights exciting, and the betting odds the bets can be crazy, but so it makes the whole events interesting. But he's not as vulnerable as like a Jeff Lacey, though.
No, he's not. He's not major vulnerable. He's not like David Price or something like that. But what I mean is, them shots he took last night from anyone with a good bit of pop in their shots.
Yeah.
He'd be in all sorts of trouble. He was buckling at the knees taking them shots.
Yeah.
And they were basic straight punches. And what Jimmy said's a good point.
Prime Cotto, Pacquiao,
That's, I think,
they put his lights out.
Oh, yeah, they put his lights out.
Hang on a sec.
Him up.
All right, Stu, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Stu.
What Jimmy said was spot on. He didn't need to fight Southpaw in that fight. He got it all wrong. But I found that he's usually at his best at Southpaw. I've seen him get out box at Orthodox quite a few times as well. And usually when he turns to Southpaw, he starts to turn it around. But this time, because Kavalaskas has got a very good straight right, you'd think he would have stayed at Orthodox. But to me, like I said, when he tried to box, he was getting out box, and I think he just uses his strength and his
Brute
size.
strength, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
He actually tried to switch it up earlier, but Bomac told him to remain southpaw for some reason.
Well, Bomac doesn't usually tell him anything like when it comes to that. That's like that because Bomac's more of a counselor, more of like a big brother type in that situation. Crawford's gonna switch way. He does everything by feel. So you know what I mean. He might suggest it, but you know what I mean. But what I like about Crawford, what is the things that I didn't like about him before. By the time he fought Postel, I was so done with him. I thought your first pay-per-view and you walk us through like that at the end when you could have fucking put on the gas. And then that really resonated with him. And I was told that now by a few different people. And he's the guy who says, I don't care what fans think. Anybody who says they don't care what the fans think, cares what the fans think. And the fact that he's, you know what I mean, dude? And he knows, and on top of that, he has meetings. He has promotional meetings. They sit down. What can we do to bring a name? What can we do to get us the big pay-per-view? And Bob doesn't pull punches with anybody. He says, son, you can't be boring. You can't walk down. Bob wasn't happy with what he finished that fight, believe me, because Bob has a lot of money invested. So he was told to step it up. And have you known since that fight, he's been taking more and more risks?
Good point. Hey, by the way, Michael Stott, thank you. I just want to say
that out myself. Yeah, I've noticed that as well, man.
Yep.
Joshua used his boring card up the other night. He can't count.
All right, guys.
He used his boring card twice, but yeah, you're right.
All right. I just want to say, Michael Stott, thank you for your contribution. He says, enjoy your Sunday evening, BDA family. Thank you for
Shout out Michael Stott. Shout out Stott.
So Crawford changed his style.
That impressed me too was Crawford's size. Like Kavaluskas is a strong guy, and they were equally strong. Just one guy beat the other. You know.
But is Kavaluskas strong? Is he stronger than Sean Porton? Is he stronger than even Cal?
No, I don't think nobody's stronger in the welterweight division.
Kavaluskas, I tell you what, Kavaluskas looked weak to me. He was getting hurt. Glazed landing properly.
If you look at his legs, and his calves. That's usually an indicator. It doesn't mean it's 100%, but usually it's an indicator. how he's built, his muscle bellies is through his traps. Whether he can punch as hard as usually not, they don't usually punch. But I can tell you right now, I guarantee you, in a clinch, he's as strong as any fucking welterweight out there, if not stronger. Got wrestling background, but that doesn't mean punching. No, exactly. That doesn't equate to punching.
But he punches good enough.
Nor does
he dropped Crawford.
Yes, he does. He does have power, without a doubt, and it doesn't equate to chin too. You could be a muscle-bound goof and not take a shot. But what I'm saying, he's a powerful dude. You can see by look at his wrists. He's as strong as forearms. He's a strong dude. I bet you a tough dude to clinch with.
In the chat, Craig Smith says. No, go ahead.
I just said I didn't see that, brother. What I saw was a man falling to pieces every time he got tagged.
Oh, but that's like I said, it's not the jaw. That's not the jaw, though. I'm talking about, Stu. I'm talking about in a clinch, like if you're fucking wrestling with him. I'm not talking jaw. He could be a.
Let's not forget though.
Short and stumpy and low to the ground. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Exactly. In big calves and shit. Yeah, he's quite powerful.
You can't move him.
Ever since Crawford has been, more exciting, he's been hitting a lot harder as well on purpose. So he's whacking fucking Kovaluskas in there, man. Like
he's putting a lot into those punches.
He's not buckling or getting hurt for no reason. He's getting nailed. I was so impressed.
Hitting him is committed.
I was actually impressed with some of the fucking shots he did take.
I went back and looked up pictures of his fights, Kovalev, after his fights, Green Machine, and that was about as swelled up. If you look at the press conference, I think his nose was broken. His fucking eye, if the socket wasn't cracked, it was close to it. Yeah, no, he was beat the fuck up. He had a contusion, a big one on the side of his head. Yeah, he caught him with some shots.
Some people being too harsh.
I want to see
Crawford,
those.
Crawford's a fighter. Crawford's more of a brawler than he is a boxer. He uses, don't get me wrong, he uses timing.
Mute your mics. Mute your mics.
Yeah, somebody's got to mute their mic. That's not good. It's Pete the Greek.
Speed, man, mute, man. We can hear you eating shit. All right, go ahead, Recognize. All right, now he muted. All right, go ahead, Recognize. Recognize.
Let's go.
Yes, I was just waiting. Okay. Yeah, I almost lost. Okay, the Crawford. Yeah, it was for Crawford. Okay, so Crawford is, to me, one of those guys that, he of course, he has technique. Of course he does. He's professional. But in his heart, he's a fighter. He's better off as a fighter because when he starts boxing with you, a good boxer, if he's boxing with a guy who sucks, he could probably look golden. But a guy who knows how to box as well, he's going to have more difficulty. It's when he goes into that fight mode with these guys, he overwhelms them. Now, I think that'll work against him against certain guys for sure. That might work against him, Earl Spence, before he got into that car accident. That might still work against him against Manny Pacquiao
or Sean Porter.
Okay, a guy who uses.
I'll tell you what, even Danny Garcia with that left hook.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Hit you because he uses different angles. His footwork is really good at the same time. So in terms of like bullying his opponents, roughing them up, getting them into the ropes, there's a technique with that. That might not work for him. So
By the way, Pete, I think you're unmuted now. Go ahead if you want to say something.
Yeah, recognize.
Over my hands up to the.
Okay, go ahead, Pete.
Pete, go ahead.
I was holding my hands up to the camera to show you that wasn't me crinkling any of that noise.
Okay.
I wasn't making any of that noise.
All right, you weren't guilty.
Yeah.
All right.
Recognize, and when you're mentioning that he's a fighter, look, I agree, and I don't think he's a guy that applies a hellacious amount of pressure. So I kind of came to realize in this fight that he's kind of a power puncher too. I had a question mark on the power. He doesn't throw a lot of shots. The shots that he does throw, they got enough steam in them to hurt you, and it's not going to be a lot. He can hurt you with a few. So, props for him.
Into your
Showing
fighter
that side of
comment, right? You see him in the lot. Remember when he approached? He caught Spence off guard. They were on the bowels at Brooklyn, I believe, at the Barclays, and it was funny. There was Spence with his homeboys, and Spence got both his parents together. He grew up in suburbia, like, you know what I mean. And it was just so funny too, because they were all trying, like, you know, the cameras on, they're all acting gangsta, and here comes Bud, and you know what I mean, Nebraska with his fucking cap down low. This ain't an act, like, I'm straight up, and like you could just see it. Who's posing and like who, like right now, if that was to pop off there, I put my money on that fucking, because Crop probably end up stabbing motherfuckers. But no, you could tell, like, that kid, like you said, he's a fighter. He's from the streets. His mother had a fucking reputation as a street fighter. His own mom. So you know what I'm saying?
Jimmy,
you
look at his face on the screen. Doesn't he resemble from his facial features? Doesn't he look like Tommy Hearns?
I
little
can't.
bit.
I don't have it up there, man.
You
Just
see that
Crawford.
Robert? He looks like Jay.
You got the high cheekbones.
Yep, yeah, with the thin jaw, front of the jaw.
He looks like Tommy Hearns. Imagine him with the NAFO right now in that picture. He would look like Tommy Hearns.
Same type of street, dude.
What are you talking about, Crawford?
Yeah, Crawford. Don't you see that? Recognize?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's. I see what you're talking about. There's a slight resemblance there, but fighting pattern, not really.
Throw in the long arms.
When they thought, yeah, this.
Hey guys, can I say?
It's just that you have one guy who's like 6'2", bro, fighting at 147, and and Crawford he's got about 6 feet, 6 feet 2 inches of fucking arm reach, but he's shorter. He's like what, 5'9", 5'8"? What is he? 5'8", 5'7"?
5'8"?
I thought he's 5'7".
Okay.
No, he's not no 5'7". I saw
5'8".
Spence in person. I saw Errol Spence in person. He's about 5'9", 5'10". And
Same height as Spence. Right? Same height as Errol Spence, no? Is that what
Errol Spence is about 5'9" or 5'10".
He probably has some thick-soled shoes.
When I saw Crawford next to Spence when they were arguing, they were just about the same height.
True.
Do not find alarming about Crawford, how easy he is to hit. He don't move his head.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, but you see, we knew this already, Stu. We knew that. So anything that happened in this fight was not really surprising. The knockdown was, I know the referee didn't call it, but the knockdown was like, that was bound to happen to Crawford.
I mean, he's always getting clipped when he's like exchanging with a half decent fighter.
Because he's sloppy sometimes.
But didn't he beat Spence in
hit for sure?
Didn't he beat Spence in the amateurs too?
I don't know.
No,
He
they
beat
never
Mikey
fought.
Garcia. I'm not sure they fought.
He beat Mikey Garcia, and I think he beat Danny Garcia. He beat Danny 2 out of 3, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think they were in the same weight class.
When you guys brought up Danny Garcia as a possible opponent for Terrence Crawford, at first I kind of like, well, fuck, he'd just take off on him foot-wise. But you know what, though? Danny's whole, that's his bread and butter is catching in the exchange like that, you know?
I would like to see Danny.
How Gamboa caught Crawford, that's exactly what Danny's looking to do with him. Nothing more, nothing less, to be honest. You know?
Yeah, I actually like the fight. I think it'd be very dangerous for both of them.
Yeah, I just think that Danny Garcia, the Morales age guy who's taken out the other dude from Brazil. He just is, to me now, his feet look like they're in cement. He can't fuck. You know what I mean? It's just
Garcia. This is Garcia.
Yeah, he's completely didn't pull up his power from he lost his power. A lot of guys can't pull it. That's a hard jump from 40 to 47. A lot of guys don't pull it out.
I kind of disagree here for one, too. I think in his last fight, he looked pretty ferocious.
Yeah, but who was it though? Wasn't it? But who was it? Yeah, Granados. He was a fucking small 140. He came up to 147. You know what I mean? And he was tailor-made.
But he barely lost.
I think Granados is better than a lot of people give him credit for, honestly.
No, listen, yeah, I've always liked Granados. He's a club-type fighter, tough as nails, but he's taken some hellacious beating recently. Yeah. And he was tailor-made, and he's a small fucking – he was at his best at 135. He came up to 140, and he wasn't, he was taking – that's when he lost to Broner and shit, which I think he actually kind of – that was probably a draw. But he was brought up to get, and he was a small welterweight. But Danny, other than that, look back prior to that. Anybody who was even remotely good, Danny hasn't fucking come close to stopping him. He just didn't bring it up.
Yeah.
He just didn't carry that weight. At 140, he was dangerous as fuck. That left hook was something nice at 140. Just at 147, not so much.
The thing about Danny Garcia, he can throw a missile out of left field out of nowhere sometimes.
Yeah, but it's because it's
with the fast punch. Yeah, do you see?
There's only so much. Oh, sorry.
Danny needs when Danny times that left hook. He needs people to hang around while he's timing it, like Khan did. You know, if you're in and out with Danny, he struggles to time it on you, and he looks sloppy when he's throwing it. But if you're hanging around in the pocket too long, throwing too many shots, that's when he's at his best front and left hook. Khan was a prime example. Do you know what I mean? Matisse was another one. So I got a feeling Crawford could walk onto one by Danny Garcia. And you know, for one thing about Danny Garcia, Crawford's not stopping Danny Garcia. I don't care what anyone says.
I don't think there's many guys that are stopping that boy anyway.
Yeah, no, that's a tough Philadelphia kid there. They're always tough in Philly. That town makes tough dudes.
Yeah. I'd like to see that fight.
I'd like to see it just to see if he actually can stop him.
Yeah.
He has overcome the adversity that he has faced. He's had some problems, but he has always overcome it. Now one problem that motherfucker will never overcome is his father. What a mess.
Well, one day
I'm talking about Crawford. I'm talking about.
No, I was talking about. Oh, I'm sorry, brother. I can't even barely hear you, dude. That's probably why I'm stepping all over you. Some guys like Pete, I can't barely hear either. So if I step on you guys when you're talking, I apologize.
Yeah, Crawford showed that he can overcome adversity. I don't know how far that card's going to take him because he is a fighter. So that's just interesting to see.
All right, people, the phone lines are open. Call in if you want to give us your take on the fights.
We need a good Italian fighter to come up on the scene again. I'll tell you guys that much.
Right. Get the guineas going.
Yeah. I haven't had one for years.
Not since Rock, right? Since the heavyweight.
Yeah, I gotta say Gaddy.
Yeah, Gaddy, yeah, fucking right. But you know what's weird? He had a French accent. That always blew my mind. I'd laugh every time he talked to me. I'd tell him all the time, like, dude, I can't get past the fucking French accent.
Canadian Italian.
Right, exactly. You know, with Gotti. But yeah, dude, you know, speaking of when I just mentioned the, Rock, right, the heavyweight. Did I ever tell you a story, dude? You know how cheap that motherfucker was? He was so cheap, right? How he died in that little biplane, because when he wanted to go to Cleveland, or because he had friends in Cleveland, he would always go there and whatnot. He would go hang around fucking the small airport by Burlington, and there was another one in Tewksbury. He would hang out there and ask everybody who was coming and going, "Where you going?" And if they said, "Hey, can I get you a ride with you?" Dude, swear to God, this was after he retired, dude. He was born dirt poor. So, the depression shit, all that.
Yeah,
so
I know he never kept a bank account or anything like that.
No, dude, never. His cash was at his house. Yeah, over his mother's house. It was in his mother's walls. Yeah, they found money in his mother's walls. He buried it in his mother's walls. Yeah, I didn't believe in banks. It was, it's the Sicilians. The banks were the crooked. So, but yeah, no, he was. In fact, he jumped on a plane. I was told this by someone who would definitely. I'm trying to remember. It was a world famous trainer who told me at my grandfather's wake. God, I can't remember his name. Was it Eddie Futch? I can't remember. I mean, a world famous trainer.
Black or white?
Eddie Fitch.
Was it? Fitch. It was a black guy who told me.
Georgie
there was a lot of them there. It was crazy. But this way, dude, I was so shocked at my grandfather's funeral. How many? I was like, Willie Pep was there. Art Moore was there. Like, wow. I was fucking. Yeah, dude, it was crazy.
How old were you at the time?
I was young. I was a pop 20s, early 20s.
So you were.
I was fucking. But this way, Willie Pep punched me in my shoulder, dude. I wanted to knock that 87-year-old motherfucker out. Dude, it hurt. He stung me, and he did it on purpose. Yeah, whack, and he snapped me with a snap. What about you? You box? Boom, and he popped me in my shoulder because I used to work out, obviously. So, and he took a shot like, dude, whoa, okay, that fucking stung you, old motherfucker.
Oh, but
yeah, but it was, it was funny and shit. But One of them told me a story that was outside the funeral home, and he got to talking, and he was telling a story how Rocky was so cheap. A dude owed him $100 from like 5 years earlier from a bet, and when he was asking people where they were going, this pilot said a town, obviously near where this motherfucker lived or whatever. He grabbed that plane, showed up at that dude's house, and knocked on his door. You got my $100? This is like 1967, dude. Yeah, he didn't fuck around. Well, he collected for the mob, so he had no problem fucking hitting people.
Talking to trainers, man. I mean, isn't it bizarre how I was talking about Ben Davison yesterday, and now he's been fired by Tyson Fury, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. There was something about this guy that just didn't add up to me. I don't think he should be there. The only people praising this guy is the media. I mean, no one else is praising him. So,
Tyson Fury was probably listening to Stu on the podcast.
Well, yeah, that's what he listened to. Yeah, them guys over there.
AJ Trainer and AJ. You're telling me before AJ Trainer and Carl Froch, right? Same trainer.
Well, his old man came out and said some shit.
Yeah, but wait a minute, real quick. I'm sorry, Stu. This is
PC, I didn't even hear you, dude. I didn't even hear you right there, brother.
We're talking about Fury, bro. Pete.
Yeah.
Ben Davison left today. I think Tyson Fury sacked him. That's not exact news coming out, because they're not going to say, "Well, I sacked him." But I think that's what's happening.
Right.
Ben Davison's not going to leave, is he, for his share of Tyson's purses?
Like you said, he listened to
the
you.
The guy is a glorified padman. That's basically what he is. A glorified padman.
He listened.
He can take the shots of the big heavy guys, but let's be real. Freddie Roach is probably the man that Tyson Fury's going to go to.
Well,
I read the article. He's not expected to be replaced by Freddie Roach. They're going to look for somebody else. I read the full article. Anyways.
Well, Fury's old man said after the Whalers fight, he said he was in terrible shape. He's never seen his son in such bad physical shape. And I know that's what he was saying. So because I read the article and said actually today, but yeah, no, Fury. I think that kid was the right guy, maybe for him mentally at that time. He needed just somebody to, like you said, a glorified pad holder, tell him yes, but kept him clean. Maybe, who knows? Maybe that was the. But yeah, no, he needs somebody now to utilize him better, his talents. It is crazy how big that motherfucker, how he can move for a guy that big.
How can you be out of the ring 3 years, right? Go on cocaine binges, alcohol binges, right? Fight nobody worth a toss in all that time, and he'd be in better shape for that fight than he was in the fight after that. It's like, it's just bizarre to me. I mean, you think that was the worst. The one that fought Wilder was the worst Tyson Fury we've seen in years, especially shape-wise. He looked good for what he'd lost, but he still looked far too big. Let's be real, too sluggish and slow. He should have been in much better shape, but he came in heavier. And what was he doing in that camp? Walling camp. What was he doing?
I don't
That's
know.
what I'm saying. And listen, Ben Davison, like I said, I smell a bad trainer from a mile away. You know I do, Butcher.
Yeah.
I've been saying this from day one about this guy when he was getting all the praise. I smell
Yeah,
a
you
bad
were.
trainer. I've just got to listen.
That,
I've just got to listen to their instructions, and I know if they're a good trainer or not.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day. I mean, you gotta know your boxing, but it's also not rocket science, and you can spot a bad trainer. Anybody can.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's be
Not
real.
anybody, but if
Ben
you know what you're
Davison, the
looking for.
tactical genius, nearly got his fighter killed. What's so tactical genius about that? You nearly got Tyson Fury killed in a boxing ring. That's what you did. Because let's be real, if you listen to the corner advice, for some reason Fury was listening to it. I have no idea why, but he was listening to it, and it nearly cost him big time. So then after that, the Walling fight, when Tyson needed to box and get on the back foot and piece him up, he was getting into a war with a tough guy that was a lot smaller than him, coming underneath his shots, headbutting him, and it was a mess. The whole thing was.
Man, I would love to see Tyson Fury just get fucking disciplined and get with a real trainer like he actually listens to and buckles down. That's why he would have to get disciplined and buckle down and actually do what they tell him to. I think not only would he come in much better physical shape, on fight night he would be in much more better mental shape, and that would just all around give him a damn near an unstoppable combination. The guy, to me, I'm sold on him. Like, I know he can beat anybody. if he's there on that night.
I know we're
So
going to
he
be talking
needs
more
to
about
take
that
this
fight as
shit
we approach
seriously.
it. Right now, it's in February, but I'm going to say this. Well, I'm going to ask Thunderdome. Do you think Fury can stop Wilder?
Yeah, I actually do. I do. I don't think. Look, Wilder has a good chin. Fury doesn't have the greatest punch, but he is a huge guy. Excuse me. He is a huge guy. If he throws a good hard straight right, and Wilder's walking in, yeah, that can absolutely hurt him and then get him knocked out or knock him out. Absolutely. It's not out of the question. I'd say it's probably only 20%, 15, 20% chance of it ever happening when they fight in any given fight.
If Tyson Fury fights Deontay Wilder like he did in the 12th round when he got up from that big punch, when he thought, fuck me, I'm not standing at that range anymore to take that again. Close the distance, maul him, and like he did, when he was getting outboxed by Cunningham. Go and watch that fight again. He was getting outboxed by Steve Cunningham back then. So, but he just took it to the trenches, took Cunningham's distance from him, and then just smothered him, used his size, and used his strength. And that's because Wilder has no inside the game. Like I said, you're not going to get an uppercut to the chin from Wilder. You're not going to get short body shots, the uppercuts to the body, the hooks to the body. None of that's going to happen. Wilder just doesn't throw inside shots. He has to be at range where he can pull that right arm back like a fucking bow and arrow and let it go. And it's just simple instructions, really. I mean, it's mind-blowing how none of these trainers have worked it out yet.
Alan Orr in the chat says, all you have to do is turn and chin Wilder to sleep him. Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe.
Sounds easy, huh?
Well, if Fury, he's big enough. If he actually planted his feet and really let the right go, he could. Anybody at that size, he threw his weight behind, planted his feet. Yeah, exactly. But he's up on his toes, which makes it so. It's crazy to see a guy that big get up on his toes and dance the way he does. Usually, big guys are gawkily and all fucked up. Not to have that kind of athleticism is pretty crazy.
It's like any fight, Jimmy. You have to adapt tactics on the night for the opponent. Sometimes you're going to have to fight on the back foot like that, look pretty, and pop shot your way to a points win. But with Wilder, it's just, I've been saying how long for a dangerous game. 36 minutes is a long time to avoid that fucking right now. So you have to take it away from him. It's, you take away your opponent.
You have to take it away from him and make him not even want to throw it. Because when he does, you hit him with something.
All right. Guys, remember to mute your mics if you're not speaking. All right. Pete, I think you have the AC on. Pete, I think you have the AC on.
Like a lot of wind or something.
Yeah, it's the AC, probably. He's in Alabama. All right. Sorry, somebody was saying something. All right, but guys, the phone lines are open. Yeah, there's a shitty delay today, so bear with us, people. Phone lines are open. You can call in, obviously, and talk about the Crawford performance or the Teofimo Lopez performance or anything else related to boxing. All right, go ahead, Jimmy.
Okay. But Teofimo, I'd like to see him fight a couple more dudes before he goes for the Lomachenko payday. He has to, first off, Lomachenko's going to say, you're still not, you're just a first-time, world champion. I can just tell you what his people will be saying. You're a first-time world champion, dude. You're bringing nothing to the table, bro. You know what I mean? You literally were a prospect last week. So this whole pay-per-view, but it would be a pay-per-view, right? Because
buddy,
ESPN, it would be on my name.
You bring a very interesting topic up that I wasn't even thinking of that could hamper the actual fight. Because what kind of money is Teofimo actually think he's worth now?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
See, I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
What are the options?
Because he doesn't really deserve much.
No, if you think about it, he was a prospect last month.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the only people, that's true. And the only people put it this way, the only people who are buying this fight, he's bringing no new fans outside of the ESPN Plus crowd. Just put it that way. He's really not.
And then he would say on top of that, then he would use his credentials. He's not stupid. He knows everybody says he's the pound for pound guy. He'd say you're expecting now because you went from prospect to world champion. And all of a sudden, now, bam, you want me? Okay, fool, you got me. But this is what you're getting, 15%, and you're lucky you're getting it. And then he'll go, oh, whoop, 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 whoop. And then, no way with his ego, I don't think, and his father, my God, his father would never accept that. Well, he'd probably ask for something stupid. Well, you'd have to come in, probably say something retarded, like 40%, and they would laugh and probably not answer the phone for a couple of days and then send back a counter. But yeah, that would be the sticking point. And I think why hold up a fight? Why hold your kid up fighting when he needs more exposure anyways? So that's why I think personally calling for Lomachenko fight is just not smart for him.
Start negotiations now, but keep fighting.
Yeah, most negotiators though, and most contracts, especially with like Lomachenko, because he's not going to. What happens if you break your hand, and if he starts making his plans around you? So most guys in the driver's seat, or most guys who are kind of the A side will say, "Fuck you, man! You fight anybody." No way. In fact, remember how Canelo even told Triple G, you can fight, but it can't be anybody. Like the reason why he couldn't fight Derenchenko then, of course, everybody said it was because he was ducking him. It wasn't the case. Canelo's people came out and said, you fight Derenchenko, our fight's off.
Yeah.
It also makes that. It also preserves. It also preserves. It also limits the possibility that GGG fights Derenchenko and then Canelo fights, fucking some dude that got to mop on the floor yesterday, just to kind of stay sharp for the fight.
Yeah,
or the Ruiz Joshua situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure that if they could have contracted that,
can I just say
Wilder probably would have contracted for Ruiz, AJ not to fight anybody except for,
Yeah.
Matter of fact, they did. They did it, matter of fact.
I was just going to ask you guys, Lomachenko, we keep saying he's in the driving seat, right? The driver's seat. Like, where's he going, though? Because, I mean, he does need...
Unification.
Yeah, but exactly. So that's what we're saying. So Teofimo has something of value, right? And there's going to have to come... Yeah, it's not just as if... Yeah, go ahead.
He has what Loma wants. That's for sure. So he kind of like, he has a little advantage in that regard, for sure, in terms of negotiations. But how much is like Loma willing to give up for that belt?
Yeah.
At this point.
And what are his other options?
And Lomachenko wants Davis.
He knows I can just say fuck you, and you'll probably not even stay around here. Leave. Maybe Comey will pick it up or something, and I'll go beat him.
That's interesting because the father already came out and said that he would give Lomachenko the biggest payday. We're talking about like this was even before he was the champion. He just gained yesterday. In an interview a couple of days ago, he said, "We're going to give Lomachenko the biggest payday he ever deserved." So already, as far as the negotiation, he's planting his feet on the ground, saying, "I'm the boss."
I don't think this would be the biggest pay-per-view that Loma's been in.
That's the most amateurish bush league looking fucking remark that any of these guys can make. A lot of them do it too. I'm going to be given. Hearn does it a lot. Hearn loves to say it. Fuck you care what his biggest payday was or what it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? You just make him his offer. You're not giving him anything. Number one. Number two, if it's his biggest payday, then it's his biggest payday. Maybe maybe he's charitable, or maybe you want the fucking fight or not. You don't offer somebody $10 million. They want 15, and then you go, it's your biggest payday, mate. It's like, all right, so what's your biggest payday?
I'm still not getting my worth out of the split.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
percentage.
It's a negotiation. What the fuck you care about? What, we're going to count my money now? You tell me what to get out of my truck, and
so what you're saying is they should mention the percentage that a fighter would get, like 20%. Or how much?
I think they should. I'd like to hear it. I'd love to have if one of these managers.
No way, Tio is worth more than 20%. Like no way. Like 25 at most. At most.
Yeah, 25. Okay. I'd say 25.
Okay, so if you guys have ever been like a negotiation a bunch of floating variables, where it's like maybe 10 or 12 things, and obviously being hard nosed on one thing's you have to soften up on another. It gets a little bit like hide the ball, you know what I'm saying? Like, to keep track of everything, you wind up going back to the first term and adjusting that because you got into a thing on the last term. If you know what I'm saying, right? It's like a down payment.
But that would usually that's more to say if it was equal footing. If you got two people with equal footing trying to do a deal. But when you're coming off like just factual what it is, Lopez is a nobody pretty much. He's just new to the sport. He has no name recognition, so he can't try to hide things. It's either this is what I'll take or fuck off. You know what I mean? They're not going to even deal with any of his side bullshit. That's what I'm saying.
And we have to realize that their level, they're not making Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor bullshit pay-per-view type money. They're not even making Triple G by himself pay-per-view type money. And then you got to realize the split, but the cable company getting half, blah, blah, blah. Their general take or pie, that piece of the pie they get to split, ain't that fucking big. And all the work that Loma put in, this is towards the end of his career. I'd be like, fuck you, this is my whole life. I'm taking a huge cut of this pie. You're at the beginning of your career and have done nothing.
Why are we saying
that's how they're going to look at this, and that's going to be a sticky point.
Would this be a pay-per-view?
It's up to
why can't this be on ESPN Plus? On ESPN. Why would this be on pay-per-view?
No, it wouldn't. It'd be on ESPN Plus, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
People are saying pay-per-view or something like. Are you guys like no? Why would it be a pay-per-view?
Call that pay-per-view.
Somebody's saying that. Somebody's saying that we're already talking about money over here.
Sorry, dude, I keep cutting you off, brother. Sorry, go.
No, we're just gonna say that in the chat. Somebody's saying that why are we talking about money? We're acting as it's Floyd Pacquiao. I think you're missing the point over there in the chat.
Yeah, definitely missing the point. Not talking. I don't give a fuck about anybody's money.
No, it's just one point.
I'm just talking about what
Trunks colors.
Hold the fight up.
Yeah.
What would stall the negotiations? Yes.
But along those lines,
what's coming down the pike?
Yeah. All right. People in the chat, if you disagree with us, you can call in and let us know what your thoughts are.
I think if there's a demand for the fight, they could kind of like help each other out in the sense that they need a dance partner. Like, okay, like Wilder, he's not a big name by himself. He sold nothing. He's against Ortiz. But if like Wilder, this is just an example. If he were to face Fury the second time around, I think just the fact that they're facing each other gets a lot of people to buy into the fight. Similar here, not as big, but everybody wants to see this fight. People are already talking about it.
No, I lost connection. What fight are you talking about, brother?
Well, I set the example of like, for example, Wilder versus Fury. They need each other to raise the bar as far as like viewership. Here it's the same thing,
He needs Fury for the money. PBC has no money. Who's gonna? They need to pay Wilder $20 million too. You know what I mean? I'm not disagreeing with you.
For the viewership, for the viewership. Similar here, you need a dance partner, and I think people are already talking about this fight like it's gonna be a big one. So like they kind of need each other. I'm not saying that Lomachenko's not a superstar in his own right, and Teofimo cannot be one. He can, but just the fact that they're facing each other will have a lot of people buying into the fight.
No, of course. He's a heavy puncher and shit. He just knocked out fucking Comey in the second round, no doubt. But I think right now a bigger fight would be against Giovanni Davis. He has a much better name, especially here in America. Because remember, he's Honduran. No disrespect to Honduran, but it's just not a huge country with a big populace to buy, because they sell pay-per-views in foreign countries. Like if he was Mexican, Bob would be making this tomorrow. Because he'd be selling pay-per-views in Mexico.
Or milking.
Yeah, well, he'd probably get some people to buy from the United States that are from Honduran descent.
Well, if they live here, they would get if they live in the United States, they'd have to get ESPN Plus like I do. And it's a good buy, I'm telling you.
Guys,
I almost say,
hey Pete, if you're gonna be moving, hey Pete, if you're gonna move your phone, can you mute it? Because when you move the phone, there's like a little bit of sound. All right, we're gonna now take a phone call, people. 901, you're on the air. 901.
Hey man, I'm enjoying the discussion, man, a whole lot. I think I think Wilder and Fury do need each other. I think they go great together. You've got the least beatable heavyweight facing the most dangerous heavyweight in a rematch. I really think you can't beat it, and I think Wilder's going to win this time.
All right. Do you want to give us your thoughts on the Crawford Teofimo Lopez fights?
Oh yeah, man. I think I wasn't so high on Kavaliauskas after the Ray Robinson draw, and I thought even though he lost this fight and got taken apart, I thought he was a lot better than his last time out. I also think I didn't. I was rooting for Comey. I just dig the dude. I dig Comey. Been watching him for ages. I was rooting for him, but my gut said Lopez was going to win. Teddy Atlas said he was going to win just like that. Mike Montero, heck, probably all y'all said he was going to win just like that. And I was shocked it was in the second round. And I think he really earned his shot at Lomachenko. And I think he's a good enough opponent. He's been on top-ranked main cards for at least a year now, scoring all these highlight reel knockouts. I think he's as visible as you need him to be. You think he can? Y'all think he can challenge Lomachenko at all, or he's just going to get outclassed?
Go ahead, guys.
Puncher's chance.
Puncher's
Simply
chance.
Keep it short and sweet, yeah.
Yeah.
Puncher's chance.
Well, what do you think, caller? Do you think that? So, are you saying that you want to see this fight next?
And I picked him to beat Comey.
Yeah.
By knockout.
Yeah,
but I still
I'd love
say
to see this
Puncher's
fight
chance.
next. I'm curious. Do y'all think Lopez he is so explosive and dude looks huge? You think he has something that'll give Lomachenko trouble? Do you?
No. Other than the power, that's just my opinion. Other than the power,
the better question is, what do you think? What he has that can give Loma trouble? What can you think of?
Yeah.
I asked earlier to a couple people, what would their game plan be if they were Tio's coach? What would you tell him he has to do to defeat Lomachenko? How do you think he can defeat Loma? That'd be the question I'd ask you.
Timing.
Hit him with his car in a parking lot.
It's the explosive timing. It's the explosive power of the timing. No way he can outbox him. It's got to be explosive power and timing.
So you agree a puncher's chance then, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's basically a puncher's chance, but damn dude is fast, man. Fast and explosive. So he's got an exceptional puncher's chance, not just a regular puncher's chance.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
But fast, yes, he's fast, but against what kind of targets? I just can't picture Lomachenko. He's not going to give him any kind of targets. But even like Crawford, even when Crawford, he gets hit a lot. Well, how many times does he get hit flush on the jaw? Not as much as he does on the side of the head, deflected a little off his arm first. It's the same thing with Lomachenko. He's hard to hit flush, even if you do crack him. But he's just not going to be in the kid's wheelhouse. You know what I mean? He's going to be making him. He's going to be biting him with feints. He's going to show him things that kid has never ever seen, and it's gonna get him confused. And then Lomachenko's a douchebag too. He talks to you in there. He says shit to you.
He did it against.
No, he does. He whispers shit. He says shit when he's like, "Oh, what happened? What happened?"
Well, he had a personal.
It makes you feel like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I think when he did that was because he had something. What's that?
He busts your balls while he beats you down?
Yes, he's a talker. He likes to say shit. He sticks his tongue out at you. Yeah, no, he says shit. A lot of fighters do.
Oh, man.
But he does. That's one of the reasons I think Rigondeaux, even though he doesn't understand English good, I'm sure he understood the shit he was saying. Like, if you throw a punch, even if it's not talk, like, say you throw a big fucking punch and you miss big, he'll go, woo! He'll do shit like that. You know what I mean? Just to accentuate the point that you just fucking flailed.
Anything else?
Well, Rigondeaux's not just a counterpuncher, but he's a hell of a sniper, and he couldn't lay a glove on Lomachenko. So,
well, look at the way after he did to Rigondeaux. Remember with Walters, he had him fucking hurt. Walters didn't know what to do, and you could have told he could have put him away right there. Instead, he kind of tapped around, danced around, spun him, and then he walked away halfway across the ring, and then waved to him to say, "Oh, wait till next round." And that was the round. Walters said, "Yeah, that's it. I'm not going to let that what he just told me was going to happen." Remember? Because he pointed and said something to him, waving his hand, and he was saying something, and Walter stopped, listened to what he said, went back to his corner, and said, "I'm done." So whatever he said to him, what he was going to do in the next round, it was enough. And he said, "No, I'm not going to let it," because that past round, you just absolutely embarrassed me.
All right, 901. Anything else you want to say?
No, you guys answered my questions real good. I mean, I appreciate the conversation. It's great to listen, learn, and enjoy. So thank you.
All right, thanks for the call, man. Call back
Thanks
again
for the
next
call,
time. Take
brother.
care.
All right, brother.
All right. We have another phone call. Let's take it right away. 646, you're on the air. 646.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yep. Welcome to the show.
Yep. Shout out to BDA Boxing. Shout out to the OG Thunderdome Boxing, man.
Thank you. Shout out to you too, man.
Yo, I just got 2 points. My first point is about Crawford. Let's be honest about Crawford. He's 32 years old, and then he's been fighting in multiple weight divisions. But can you tell me top three great fighters that he fought? Just 3. You can't. The best is probably like what, Gamboa? That Gamboa that came off 2 years inactivity and moved up in weight. I mean,
Postol?
He unified 140-pound division. You can only unify what's there. So you can't hold that against the fighter, though. The same token. What's that?
He's good. He's not great.
I'm just.
I mean, you
giving
look
him
at Pacquiao.
his
Pacquiao
due.
was already a legend by age 32.
Oh, yeah. Pacquiao. You can't compare him to Pacquiao, but there's only one Pacquiao, I think. But I get your point. Go ahead.
My second point is on Crawford again is how do you say? It's too many excuses about Crawford right now. They're making excuses saying that
Yeah, go ahead.
They're saying what?
No, we lost him. Call back again, man.
Real quick, guys. I got to go. My computer's about to die.
All right, man.
So,
Thanks for joining us.
Be good, brother.
Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Thunderdome.
All right.
Yep. Good talking to all you guys.
Shout out to Odie.
Gonzalo, Jimmy, Frank, everybody.
All right, take care, man.
Yep.
Thunderdome, kid, you from Philadelphia? Let me just ask real quick. Pittsburgh. Oh, no, nice. Steel Town. Nice. I knew it.
Yeah.
One of those. All right, brother. You be good, man.
All right, man. Have a good night, man.
All right, man. Peace.
Peace.
All right. So what about Crawford? I mean, is his record some people keep mentioning it. How good is
All
it?
right, look at. Can I say something seriously about that? Now think about it, right? If you can say that, yeah, absolutely, he's not taking any of these fucking elite fighters out. But when you unify a division, now just think about that. That means you've taken all the belts. You fought everybody. So that means you're only as good as the people you fight. It's the errors. You know what I mean? It's people. A lot of great world champions, like they said, I owe it to these dudes who made me great because I fought great guys. And if the fact that, all right, yes, I agree with a lot of shit Stu said about he takes a lot of shots. I don't rate him as high as some people, but you cannot take away from the fact he's been begging Spence to fight for 2 years, walking up to him, "What's up, dude?" Straight up saying what he'd take for the fight. Do 50-50. I don't give a fuck. Let's do this. You know what I mean? So there's no excuse. We're just not doing that side of the fence. But how disingenuous is that they have to go across the fucking side of the street to take on Fury? The reason being, PBC doesn't have the $20 million. You think fucking Espinosa is going to give it to him after they do what they did? They fucked him. And on top, well, first off, he also turned down that Ortiz fight too. Remember, they first approached him. He said, "No, I'm not paying that kind of money." So he's had, you know what I mean? Like he's put the line in the dirt. Like, I'm not paying past this. So now they're pretty much fucked. So now they need a pay-per-view or another platform because they don't have the money to pay him. The only person who can come up with that kind of money right now is either another investor, but usually investors want to see investment sheets. Okay, what has this guy, turned? So what are you saying? The last 2 fights combined, he's lost $30 million, and you want me to invest money into this? He needs Arum. I don't care what anybody else says.
It's like you said, it's like you said before, Jimmy, and I said it too. It's going to be pay-per-view from here on out for any of Heyman's guys that demand any kind of purse. It's going to have to be pay-per-view because this whole thing kind of pay them.
Exactly.
Yeah, who else is going to pay them? They have more buyers.
But here's the caveat, though, right, brother? Think about it. Think about if that 138,000 is really true. What's his name? Rick Glacier, who's doubling, tripling down on it. Think about that. Say if that's true. That is so bad, man. That means they lose so much. They put it on pay-per-view. People, you just gotta suck it up and say, okay, we're gonna lose $15 million. Let's do it.
Yeah. So we were talking before, like about the, we were talking before about the these guys don't promote the fights, but then these guys really do promote the fights, and so that's why you got these guys that that part of that whole variable, all the variable terms in a contract on this fight. It's not necessarily A side, B side, or take it or leave it. It's like, well, it's like Ruiz would not have never gotten that such a high purse for the first Joshua fight had he not come in with short notice on a short notice on a second fighter's short notice, like 2 days before the fight. And so here's what I'm saying: it's all negotiable all at once in terms of your flat fee versus your pay per view. So you got Porter and Spence; those are two marquee names in the welterweight division, getting $2 million purse for a fee, and they weren't promoting that fight like they were getting a $2 million purse. You know what I mean? Like, so the point of the matter is when you're forced to do pay per view, that's a hard spot to be in. That's a very hard spot to be in for a guy who's not really like taking steps up the competition level. Like a Wilder or like a.
You see, let's talk about the business side though. Are they really getting that kind of money, Pete? You think that?
I believe $2 million.
You think that
Wilder absolutely got 20 million. It was filed with the Nevada Tax Commission.
So he got the 20 million.
Let me ask you a question. Another question, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Now, why would I give you $20 million when I know I'm not going to profit? Like,
bingo.
Exactly. See, there's something. Look, I know one thing about business.
Because you are.
I work for myself, and I have to, in order to get paid, I have to be giving somebody something back. They got to be making something back in order for me to stay in business, right? So there's something going on there. When I know Al Heyman is not taking it out of his money; he's taking it out of somebody else's. So there's something going on.
He gets 15% of the pay. Recognize. Think
Okay,
about that.
right.
So of course he's going to pay. He pays 29. That fight that night. Know what he paid in fees and purses? $29 million. He paid out. He got 15% of that. That's $4,335,000, I believe. That was his slice.
Right. That so he made himself a nice little handsome check. Right. He got himself $4.something million. Just for signing those. See, that's the scam right there. You see the scam?
Because you're thinking about it.
Scam.
You're thinking about it in terms of that fight. In other words, you would do that because Espinosa would pay $20 million for that fight, knowing that's not anywhere near anything worth $20 million, knowing the exact amount of viewers that are going to view that fight, which is little to none. That was during the football season and everything. Because they're looking to get that fight, the next fight, the AJ pay-per-view. The AJ and Wilder
I understand that.
seen by them as something. So yeah, that's why you do it.
Hey, by the way, Pete, do you have
some? If I was cutting people off last night, I apologize.
Pete,
because I couldn't hear much last night. I had a bunch of noise.
Do you have us on Pete? Do you have us on Do you have us on speaker?
Yeah, dude, it's bad, man. I can barely. It's echoey as fuck.
Yeah, don't put us on speaker, man.
The air console, Pete, is rumbling in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm having a real hard time hitting you, dude.
Put some earphones. Put some earphones. All right. Go ahead, guys. Somebody in the chat said it's called gambling. No, sorry. Yeah, it's gambling. Taking a gamble. This isn't a gamble. This is all right, but go ahead, Jimmy. This isn't a gamble.
It's not. No, it's not. And what happened was this. Everything's on the horizon. They get investors. There's investors that, people put money into fights all the time. There's actually hedge funds that are actually involved in it. But what happens is they say, okay, we're going to give you, for like what Pete was saying, I believe what he was saying, you're vesting towards the future. Okay, so we're going to lose. How it was approached to them, because remember, they paid him. He also received $20 million for the Dominic Brazil fight. Now, that wasn't even on pay-per-view. That was an absolute dog. That was a throwaway. I mean, Showtime openly, I think I heard that they lost $14 million on that fight, but because they were supposed to get the Joshua fucking Wilder fight, which was going to make them a ton of money. What happened? He lost. Joshua lost. boom, the wall came crashing down. Fucking surprised Espinosa still has his job. So now here comes the Ortiz fight. They offer fucking Espinosa to fight. He said, no, I'm not giving more than $3 million site fee. No, that's it.
Exactly.
That's what
So
he
you see,
offered.
he's not willing to.
No.
Espinosa
Yeah, exactly. Said
Espinosa
no.
knows what's going on. So
There's
he
no
says
profit.
No. He says, I'm not getting involved with that.
There's no profit.
So then what they did is they brought it to Fox. Fox said, well, we're not going to give you. I guess Fox cut some kind of deal. Heyman went out, got more investors, the same thing that, nope, we got this Fury fight. It's going to do between 7 and $1 million. And that's because that was the going rate that even Bob was saying too, 7.
Right. So you see the financial gymnastics they got to do that Al Heyman has to do. Look, he has to pay Wilder and Ortiz, the talent, right? He's got to pay those guys. Then Fox, he goes to Fox after Showtime says, nah, not us. And Fox tells them, well, who's going to pay them their checks? Al Heyman tells them, don't worry about it. I got that covered. Okay? It's too much of a headache to explain this is bad business. Look, just look at it as a numbers thing. Why would I give you money if you can't give it back to me? If I can't make a profit off of it, right? Which is what I'm looking for, is to make a profit off of it.
He's becoming a Ponzi scheme.
Right, that's what he's running. It's a Ponzi scheme.
That's all it is. He's just borrowing money. Exactly.
Who's still doing business with this guy, knowing that's what he's doing?
Well, he's got Heyman Boxing LLC is in court right now. It's still being sued in federal court in Kansas City for, they owe them, for fiduciary problems, all kinds of shit. So they want their money. They're not just going to let him walk away with that $500 million. But he got Fox to buy in that $50 million. But mind you, that's the reason why he needed that huge investment, because you couldn't just suddenly pay fighters and not have a return. It all fell apart when he didn't put everybody else out of business. That was the game plan. Even fucking what's his name? The announcer on Showtime doesn't even deny it. He just bought up all the TV rights slots that in 2015 and halfway through 2016 he put just anybody fights. Remember how horrible they were? But he was complaining. But all he was trying to do, he didn't think anybody would be able to survive it. He thought everybody would fold under, and they would get rid of the sanctioned bodies. He would have PVC belts, and boxing was going to become UFC Al Heyman style. But once that fucking fell to the wayside, he needed Showtime and Fox to fucking live off their budgets. But now here's the problem. He pissed off fucking Showtime bad. Those days of big money coming from them after getting screwed. First off, if I believe if Espinosa was to lose that kind of money again, he'd lose his job. And he just got a promotion now. He's producing inside the NFL and other shit too. So I doubt he's going to want to lose his gig. So eventually it's a house of cards. You keep borrowing money. Eventually when you can only produce so many financial failures where you get to the point where all right, I'm sorry to backtrack, but Triple G Jacobs, prime example. First 2 years in business, he wouldn't take on any, he wouldn't step out of the promotion. Everything was in-house. They all sucked. Jacobs had to fucking threaten to quit, saying, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm not making any money. So that was the first time. And then when he said, okay, I went to make it, the reason why, like Tom Laughlin tells everybody, hey, they had no money. They had no money to pay for any of the shit that you need money to put up fronts. So they needed Triple G to be able to pay Jacobs that kind of money. Because Jacob said, I wanted X amount of dollars. So it's all been, and see why fighters, once they usually get to a certain status, Jacobs, Khan even left, all these fighters, once they started making big money, bolted. Another thing, Ego tweeted about it. It's very important. All the young prospects we're talking about who are now champs, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Virgil Ortiz, anybody young, up-and-coming guys, I think I'm missing a couple. None of them are signing with Al Heyman. Why would you?
Because it's out there. Because it's out. You know what it is? It takes a while. It takes a couple of years. It's out there that he's running a scam. So why, if I'm a professional fighter who's got a lot of talent and a lot of people are looking at me and saying, kid, if you sign with me, we could take this the right way, and you look at Al Heyman, you're like, no.
All right, guys.
No, that's it, because Al Heyman is trying to make money off of you. That's the deal. Basically, it's like this. Look, I'm not going to promote you the right way. What I'm going to do is ask for a certain amount of money, and I'm going to tell people who you are, and that in the future you could be worth a big payday because you have the right rival, right? and that's what we're gonna invest. Why, as a young man, would I want to take that? If I have a son, he wants to box. Why would I say, yeah, this sounds like a great deal? You go to the guy who's like, look, we're gonna build him a profile, and then every fight after that, at a certain point, he's gonna start making X amount of money because he's actually earning that kind of money. Okay,
deserved money. But here's the thing, though. This is what people are gonna start saying. If Al Heyman is so bad, and if all this is a scam, whatever, how come fighters are not complaining?
They can't. They cannot.
Okay.
They can't speak against him. Okay, but what does it tell you when Danny Jacobs leaves Al Heyman is when he starts making his big money? What does that tell you?
And it's in their contract too that they can't
wasn't
talk
Devin
shit about him,
Haney
right?
originally? Wasn't he like entertaining the idea of going with Al Heyman?
Well, Mayweather, he actually was training out of his gym for almost 2 years.
Okay,
was it?
But in the end, he said, "Fuck that," right? Like he didn't say it publicly, but he said, "I'm going where the real money's at, the zone." Right?
And
the real
Mayweather
money
is PBC for the most part.
Right.
So you're right.
He chose the zone.
So of course he did, exactly. Because
Right.
and he was right in that gym. He saw it firsthand. He saw how he saw that Mayweather wasn't promoting their fighters. And Heyman uses shill promoters. And again, the reason why guys aren't gonna fucking complain because he's paying them big money in the beginning, above average. I think it was 20% above, average standard. But after that, it's still good money. He pays them like
he gave Luis Collazo $2.5 million. Think about that.
Exactly. Because you know why? It's not out of gracious of his heart. He gets 15% of that. Too.
Of course, man.
Hey, they're getting paid, though. They're getting paid. They're getting paid, though.
And it's not his money.
That's right.
But the problem is,
important.
But the thing is, it's not sustainable. You know what I'm saying?
I got a question. So is
Yes.
this kind of like a Ponzi scheme?
Exactly.
No, it is.
With right now, exactly. With Wilder, it is. People are putting up money. He's taking in money now to pay the people from the fight that hasn't even. You know what I mean? It's like he's trying to catch up. He's like 2 or 3 fights behind now, and he's now.
Isn't that illegal though?
Well, no, because he's upfront about it. Invest into this fight. This is the money we need to raise. We should get it back at pay-per-view. Now, Matt, do you think he told anybody at Fox when they talked about Wilder Ortiz too? Hey, listen, we're not going to take it to Showtime. First off, he probably told them like I was going to offer it to him. Don't listen to what Espinosa is saying. I was always coming to you guys. Believe me, it's not him. It's probably Watson in there saying. This fucking thing, you kidding me? This guy is one of the best pure fighters. This fight he was actually losing on the scorecards. He probably sold this up to that Michael Wagner, the guy from Fox. This thing's going to pull down 500, probably 600,000 pay-per-views. Whatever fucking money, there might be some fucking spillage in the purse, but don't worry, Al's taking care of that. But so you guys are looking at this in pay-per-view numbers, because that's, again, all Fox cares about is they get 50% of the pay-per-view. And if they only got 138,000 pay-per-views, they only got 50% of that. So do the math. Even though put it this way, it didn't even cover the fucking fee that they paid to get the fight.
That's the thing. That's the thing. These pay-per-view providers, I mean, they have this equipment and this networking where they can put anything on broadcast. You know what I'm saying? They can broadcast anything. In other words, they'll do it. The thing with Heyman is like what Jimmy was talking. Is everything all right? What's up? Matrix, you all right? I thought you were saying something was wrong. The thing with Waddell and Reed is it's more. All right, thank you. The thing is, there's more like instead of a Ponzi scheme, there's an actual product here. There is, but it's more like Jimmy's a loan officer for a bank. I don't have the credit to buy shit, and I got this piece of shit house here that's worth, whatever it's worth. It's for me. It's for me inflating the asset by 2 or 3 times, and then Jimmy, knowing what we're doing, giving me a wink and a nod ahead of time about next week. Him okaying it, him suggesting to his employer, to his fiduciary duties to his employer and their investors, and saying it's a sound investment for us to make. His ability to pay us is good. Heyman really didn't need to pitch anything. He had an inside man breaching a fiduciary duty for a number of investors that really, honestly, is these hedge funds are there with a lot of money, a lot more money than we're talking about here, but they there was no hedge here. There was no hedge at all here. It was more like a commission base.
Well, no, it was a hedge fund. They borrowed the money from a hedge fund, the Ivy Group. It was Waddell and Reed, and the hedge fund name was Ivory Group. They borrowed the money from there. There was an investment of that hedge fund.
Right. So I'm saying, but there was no hedge. There was no hedge against loss. In other words, there was no angle here except for an improper one. You know, like in other words, it all started with Heyman's guy on the inside at Waddell going out and shopping that product to a VC or a hedge fund with not only just like, hey, Heyman's a great guy, he knows boxing. Hey, listen, we here at Waddell and Reed know investments. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go 50-50 on it with you. That's how strong we are with this guy. He knows. Are you familiar with his concert promotions? Right. So if Heyman didn't have that's before Heyman walks in the room, Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? Before Heyman even walks in the room, this guy from Waddell is fucking stroking him off from one end of the room to the other. And going dollar for dollar.
He now works for Heyman.
That's
He's now
right.
the CFO of fucking Heyman's company.
That's
right. Part
right.
of the lawsuit. That's part of the reason they're suing him. They're saying that was like dirty as fuck.
Correct. So that phase has changed. Right. The first phase of it was just collecting the 2 and 3 guys. So excuse me. So they couldn't make the 1 and 2 fights without going through Al Heyman. Then it was this Waddell and Reed injection. Not only did they do PBC, not only did they put it in their own pockets, not only did they overpay their own fighters, overinflate the asset price of their own fighters, so they would basically pay them not to fight in a lot of cases. Overpay them,
and the
inflate
way
the market.
Too is to make it look like, I mean, people in the know they know better than that, but it's to make it look like, you know, he's some type of big star that when he puts him in the fight with, let's say, Wilder, Joshua. You see, look, he's worth at least, 60-40. Come on, bro. You get what I'm saying?
No, he's worth at least $20 million. That's why you and I sell back and forth to each other. That's why I sell you a house that's worth $10 million for $20 million, so that when you go to sell it to Jimmy, you could say, "Yo, I just paid $20 million for that shit."
That's right. You see,
that transaction between me and you had nothing to do with it. But that's so fucking shallow.
This is so easy to figure out.
Up, man.
Yeah, it's so shallow that you wouldn't do it unless you got paid a commission on every dollar that went to the fighter's pocket.
See, he's not worth $20 million. Deontay Wilder.
We know that. You seen the housing market?
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
here's what I'm saying. Deontay Wilder's not worth the $20 million that he's getting. It's a scam. It's the way the way Pete just explained it. Right?
Hey,
I bought that
he's worth like Matrix said, he's worth what he's worth, right? But it can't be inflated by his manager. And also you have to take into consideration that, and I'm being serious about it, this fucking weasel, what's his name, Espinosa?
Yeah.
Okay, how do I say it? Like,
he's a weasel.
Triple G's first fight, any of these fighters that signed this multi-fight deal, right, with DAZN?
Yeah.
Their first fight's not worth anywhere near what their per fight agreement breaks down to. It never is. It's never worth. Sorry, it's always some. It's always just an introduction fight. You know what I'm saying? It's always just like a walkthrough.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've gotten used to it by now. You know. So of course they're going to overpay him for that first fight because they're getting the last fight. You know, they think that they're getting a value in the last fight. Espinosa's going to pay him $20 million. Because he does not want to go any fights with Deontay Wilder where he's not either on Showtime pay-per-view or using Showtime pay-per-view's offer to extract more money out of somebody else. Yeah. He doesn't want to be out of the Wilder mix. So yeah, it's not his money either, Matrix. It's not his fucking money. It's not spending on anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not spending on anything else.
But Espinosa will be his job. He could lose his job though. That's like they were pissed. I mean,
just like the Waddell guy. Yeah, just like the Waddell guy.
Well, that's why he bolted and went work with the PBC. But I don't think you're going to see much more. I don't think Showtime's going to be around much longer.
90 seconds.
I have a gut feeling.
I mean, at the end of the day, Jimmy, like Showtime's going to give Espinosa his budget every year for boxing, based upon the 12 years that he's been. I don't know how long he's been there. You guys know better than me. How long has he been there?
About that. No, he came over from, wasn't it HBO back in the early part of this decade? I believe he was at HBO for a while.
Yeah, I mean he's been
yeah,
with Showtime since I remember, right?
Exactly. Why aren't there any big good PBC fights now? It hasn't been for a while. It's for that reason. He's right now sitting. Imagine this is his promotional plan right now for the PBC. I have to wait for Fox's and not for PBC budget. Because remember, Fox already paid. That was a one-time deal, $50 million for the next 3 years. There's no more infusion of blood from money from coming in from Fox, other than letting them use their service and pay-per-view. But that's again. But for how many more pay-per-views are Fox going to do when if the site fee costs more than what they take in on a pay-per-view before they say no more pay-per-views? They're not signed. There's no contract with PBC saying we're going to let you do, in advance type of shit. So it's like they're doing it. It'll be ear by ear, pay-per-view by pay-per-view. This last
which it is.
They paid, but they paid the BBC more money than they took in on the pay-per-view. So that lost Fox money. Fox doesn't usually lose money on programs, and if they do, they're not going to do it often because it's not like they care about boxing. They care about the.
Oh yeah, correct. Yeah, you're correct. So that last thing you said, walk me through that. Would you say now that CBS paid? Yeah, CBS took a loss on that last Wilder Brazil fight.
And CBS, who? No.
Is that what you said? I'm sorry. Repeat the last thing you said about taking that they lost money. They paid out more money than they took in.
All right, Fox had to pay when Showtime turned down they first offered Wilder Ortiz to Showtime. Showtime would have done the pay-per-view. Ortiz they would have got 50%. But you have to put up X amount of money in the beginning to buy the fight. Right. The site, they get a small site fee from the Vegas casino, and then they get what's called the rights fees. So Heyman would have charged. I think they offered the rights fee for. I believe there was in Forbes magazine for $10 million to Showtime. Showtime said no. So they turned it down. So there's no way. I'm almost positive Fox wouldn't have paid $10 million for a fucking rights fee. They probably paid $3-4 million. I wouldn't doubt that.
This is the broadcaster down the line later.
The broadcaster. That's Fox. That's just Fox by themselves. So if they paid $3 or $4 million, right? Now, who gets that $3-4 million? That fee, that rights fee for the PBC. That's split between the PBC. And then who's that? That's pretty much just Heyman. So he gets that, the site, the rights fee plus the fighters cuts. But now here's the caveat. Now, so here's the check, Alan, for $4 million for the rights fee for this fight. Now we're going to sell the pay-per-view. We're going to sit back and collect 50% of all the pay-per-views sold. If they only sold 138,000, that means their check to the fucking right was bigger than the fucking pay-per-view. And what I'm saying is there's not going to be any more pay-per-views down the line if that continues to happen. Fox isn't going to continue to hand you a check for X amount of millions and get back a check with pennies on the dollar. They're starting to lose money is what I'm saying. And this last fight cost Fox money. It cost Al Heyman money. It was a dog.
Okay, yeah. So like if you look at what's happening, right, and this is only something I've just paid attention to, so I fucking move on and shut up about it if you want, but what I noticed with Heyman is that he's promoting from the bottom, just like he's double dipping from the bottom as manager and promoter, just like Don King was double dipping from the top, promoting his ass off, but also taking the manager cut as well, and all the inherent disservices to the boxer that come with that. But a couple things towards what you said, the fees at the end when you sum them all up, the site fee that comes in from any venue that wants that fight to be held in their arena, the licensing fee for broadcast for any Showtime or cable provider, or the pay-per-view agreement that they cut with a pay-per-view provider, and other rights fees for other countries that don't do pay-per-view that might get it for free because of timing. That really all goes to the promoter, not to the fighter or anybody else. So I think it's worse. I think Heyman's double dipping from the bottom, and that unless it's a Wilder Promotions and a Canelo Promotions and a fucking my cousin Steve Promotions, that if it's just a whatever Finkel's company, whatever these two or three puppet promoters that Heyman has, whatever their names are, unless the promotion with anybody but them, I think that just goes right to Heyman.
He gives promoters a flat fee. That was said.
Well, he rents their license, but I'm talking about the gross.
I'm talking about shield promoters, like the people who actually promote the fight, the guys that you would show up, like Lou DiBella and those people.
Just to sign the paperwork, right?
They have no fucking say. They don't set price of tickets. They don't do anything.
Right.
They're just a shill. But at the same token, they get a flat fee, no matter if it sells 2,000 tickets or if it sells 23,000 tickets. That's why they've never had a sellout. Because if you're
Which
a
is
promoter,
why
why the fuck would you hustle, right? You know what I mean? Would
Yeah,
you
but
hustle if you got
where I'm saying
sellout?
is that's why I think Heyman's taking all of that revenue, not splitting any of it with the fighters.
Yes, of
Now,
course he
dude.
is. Of course he is. He's taking
Oh,
it
okay,
all.
okay.
He's
All right, so we
taking,
agree on
like,
that. So we agree on that.
oh
Okay.
no, yeah, dude, no, Pete. He takes the rights fees. He takes the site fees. He gets 15% of the person. He's able to do that by hiring shill promoters. He does that by swerving the Ali Act. They set the Ali Act so you couldn't have too many fingers and too many pies. Listen, Heyman is making bank. He doesn't give a fuck. It isn't his money he's losing. The one who's the biggest one who probably, well, obviously Wilder was at 20 million, but I'd be shocked if Heyman didn't walk away with at least $8 million from that fight. And everybody else around lost money.
I think that, but I think also, Jimmy, the reason you're going to have only pay-per-views from here on out is because at first, Heyman's trying to extort these promoters like Aaron when he first came in the system. You saw that pushback, hardcore pushback, and Aaron still feels it today. He had Kathy do it. Don't work with this guy Heyman. I'm telling you, get involved with this guy Heyman. It's not Heyman, it's Cabela. You fucking know what I'm talking about. Don't get on the road with this guy. It's like a union coming into a shop. That's the way that Bob Aaron feels about it. It's like unionizing a fucking steel mill industry. These owners feel that this is. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say Bob Arum runs his mouth. Agree with you, right? Says some things, but to say certain things, like for Bob Arum to call him a cancer, especially Jewish people, you know what I mean? They're pretty, superstitious about shit like that. And he even talked about it. He said, "Listen, Al Heyman is a cancer. He has been the worst thing to happen to boxing on so many levels." And you know what I mean? There's certain things like writers are told that they can't print. Because if they print it, obviously they'll never get anything from the PBC, and there's a lot of shit behind the scenes. So, listen, he came in, he only gives a fuck in his thing, like, oh, he takes care of the fighters. Of course he does. These fans aren't smart enough to realize the reason why he's taking care of them, it's in his financial interest to fucking pay them more money. You know what I mean? It's all been a fucking.
That's old school.
He gets the PBC fucking company is him, Watson, that fucking. That broad who does his PR, the freckle-faced redhead lawyer, and that other fucking dude from the CFO, who probably pays just to keep him from testifying to the feds. You know what I mean? Seriously. It's he is making, it is, but what it is he's so smart. He's from Harvard, and he knows how to bury shit in paperwork. You put up enough different, you know what I mean? Basically, not to say you know how you could bury things. You bury losses. So he doesn't show on a spreadsheet. But yeah, but my point is there's only so many bridges can be burnt. There's only so many people going to put up that kind of money. Wilder is now a $20 million fight guy. Very seldom he's a fight to go back. And the thing is losing money. If he's losing money. So now who's going to invest? He needs Tyson Fury. My point being at the end of all this, he needs Tyson Fury. And Fury, obviously, they want that big money. But in order to get that kind of money, Fox, will you pay again? I know you lost money in the last one, but will you, invest into this? And he doesn't have to worry about that because if he fights Fury, I'm sure it'll be on ESPN or they'll go through that way. Or it might be probably an ESPN pay-per-view. You know what I mean? But
I don't think that people think about the fact that if Deontay Wilder's worth nowhere near $20 million, right? And as Matrix says, I think he's right. And Steven Espinosa is standing there sweating like fucking pouring off his forehead down to the last second in negotiation. You imagine negotiating a fight with Fox pay-per-view? You imagine being Fox, the new partner with the PBC, and having this fucking guy in the room until the goddamn day before we're getting ready to sign the fight? That's a look like pitting one against the other. That's PBC thinking they're in such a position where they can have Espinosa standing there with his arms folded, posturing $20 million, posturing $30 million, posturing $40 million for Fox to agree to take something that they know that they know he's full of shit. You follow what I'm saying? And then the last night they sell it to Espinosa. What if Heyman took that Waddell Reed money and advanced Wilder $2 million? Well, excuse me. What if he advanced Wilder $20 million out of the Waddell Reed money for a signing bonus? What if he advanced him fucking $3 million and took $3 or $6 million for himself, and now goes to Espinosa? It's not your fucking money anyway. Pay him the $20 million. I'll put a good word in for you for AJ Joshua, and then I can get my money back. I advanced him. You know, I took what I owed money, but advanced it to him. He owes me. That's a loan to me. That's a loan from me. And before this thing winds up, I got to get paid back, right? This guy's in the music business, so he's a live concert promoter. He was Bob Arum. He was Bob Arum for concerts. He dealt with road managers constantly, that had him over a fucking barrel. If he wanted to do something different, they can always pull the band off the stage. Fuck you, you got no show. I could do it at the 11th hour. I could pull him off the stage if I'm a good road manager.
You know where Heyman made his bones in the music business? This is where Heyman was
live
brilliant.
concert promotion.
Well, what he did was he got involved in. He would make money on the fucking soft drinks. He was making money on tea. Like he was one of the first promoters to start tying all that in together and getting guys touring much bigger slices of the pie. So listen, he's a smart dude. I never say he's not smart. You know what I mean? I just don't think he ever had boxing's best interest in heart.
I think
he kicked around. Yeah, he kicked around being like he said for years he would hang around with the guy from HBO. I forget his name off the top of my head, but I can find the article. And he would tell him, he said this guy, Al would call me at 11 o'clock at night after a fight and say, "Oh my God, I could run that sport. I'd turn that thing." And then once the UFC became popular and, the turn of this past decade, started making bank, that's when he said, fuck it. And he started running getting involved more and more. His plan was to turn it into the UFC, but him being Dana White.
His pitch to Waddell and Reed was that his plan was to turn it into the UFC and then sell it off. That's the difference. He needed a Zuffa, but no Zuffa would sit down. I don't know if that's their name. I'm sorry if I'm mistaken, but he needed a Zuffa to sit down and buy that. He could not get that. But no boxing promotions ever got that. He therefore then found a guy that works for Zuffa to pitch it to these Zuffa brothers, since you got their ear, the loan officer. That's his whole fucking job. To rubber stamp an injection of capital into PBC and a re-injection to try to save this fucking thing, totaling $500 million. Once that dried up, it's phase 3 now, which is pay-per-views over here, and Bob happy to lock his ass out, as owners will do. So, going back though, one thing to remember going back though is that's exactly what you described. Is concert promoters did that forever. They just didn't give a piece to the fighter.
Exactly.
So, Arum is doing that day after day after day. It's his whole career. Heyman has learned management from the promoter side, is what I'm trying to tell you. That's why he says I could run this sport, because I see the arena you guys are putting this boxing match, and it's the same one that I use when I put a concert in there. It's the same one, and I know what you're paying the fighters because my brother's a fighter, and I have one fighter. I know because I pay. Because I pay the bands. I pay the bands. What I tell them, I'm not making all this fucking money on these seats. Like, you're gonna get paid what the market's worth in LA or New York, right? So when he says he could take over, he's saying, I know what they're telling my brother is bullshit. Because that's the same shit that I tell Aerosmith. That's the same shit that I tell so and so. So that's why he was so confident he could do it. And that's why he could do it. I mean, in other words, he's been promoted. He's been doing how do you call it? He's been dealing with managers in terms of being giving away, in his opinion, giving away 20% his whole career. He's just double dipping from the bottom now. Thanks.
Yeah. You want to say something, Gonzalo?
No, I already wrote it on the chat. Somebody asked him
The Vernon Forrest. Yeah, Pete, mute your mic, please.
It's Vernon Forrest is the first fighter he signed.
I didn't know that. I just want to say, people, subscribe to the channel. This is the type of talk you get. People who actually know the sport. Jimmy, a lot of experience in the sport. He's been there for a while, a long time. And Pete actually read the PBC contracts, so he knows what he's talking about, all right? This is in some LDBC channel. I'll just put it that way. But guys, we're going to have to end the show. But I want to thank you all for joining us. And in the chat as well. Guys, you are the best. But we're going to have to end it.
Thanks,
so
guys. Thanks. And Pete, no, man, it's true. It was awesome, Pete. You definitely could tell. You knew, you read what was going on, so you saw right through it all. Nice. All right, gentlemen, thanks for having me on, man. You guys have a great night.
Have a good night, Jimmy.
Later, Jimmy.
Gonzalo, take care. And everybody in the chat, quick shout out, I guess. They have a lot of people though. Dolores Lopez, Kate Duncan, is it Kalon or Kalon, I guess? Sorry if I fucked up your name. Alan R. Lobito, that's Gonzalo. Alan R. Who else is there? Tomaso Mark, Baboon Boxing, Biat. Chalino Sanchez. Subaj, of course. I think the Shepherd of Sean obviously was there. Joe Lopez, 40 ounces. All you guys. Nas Mendoza, of course. One hitter. Guys, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to check out our Discord page, 24/7 live chat. Link in the description. It's called Discord. All right. Oh, and don't forget to check out the Second Renaissance. We have another channel. It's called the Second Renaissance. Go on our YouTube page, go to channels, and subscribe to the Second Renaissance. We talk about everything over there, not only boxing. All right, guys, take care, and we'll see you next time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time. I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in everyone. Totally disappointed in everyone.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in everyone.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. Lomito! Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.